Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in Chatham Township, New Jersey, a brilliant woman slowly begins to unravel until a horrible discovery is made in her childhood home. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another crazy, wild edition of Small Town Murder.
Yeah.
Nuts as always today. Just a crazy episode today. You don't want to miss this one. It's wild stuff. Thank you, everybody, for everything you've done for us this whole week. Yeah. Of course, your reviews they help a lot. If you haven't done it yet, get on that Apple podcast, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. I don't know why. It helps drive you up the charts for some reason. It's their algorithm, not ours. I don't know. So sorry you have to do that, but thank you very much for doing that. We do appreciate it. It really, really helps the show out a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now.
There it is.
Or whenever you can, really. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to rush anybody or anything, but it's not going anywhere. For everything Small Town Murder, and of course Crime and Sports. If you haven't been listening to Crime and Sports, you've definitely been missing out. Yeah. Check out the last couple weeks. The one a couple weeks ago, David Bieber's a bodybuilder, zero sports. It's just a crazy murder story. Right. So check that out. You can kind of wade yourself in and then dive in from there. Yeah. You don't have to like sports. Trust me.
Get a taste.
It's almost better if you don't like sports because we're going to brag on everything and everybody involved in it. So it's better if you don't. So check that out. Get everything there. Also, get your tickets to live shows.
Right.
Oh, the tour, it's coming. We are in San Francisco tomorrow and Saturday.
Right.
Friday, the March 13th, and Saturday, the 14th. We're in San Francisco.
Pending.
As of right now, we're still there.
Right.
It says Friday night sold out. Saturday night, there's still tickets left. And unless they tell us, do not come, the show is canceled, we're doing it. We're not going to cancel shit.
No.
So unless San Francisco puts a cap on gatherings or anything like that, we're definitely going to be there. So
they've got a cap on it. Just right now,
it's 1,000. We're going to a 400 seater, so that's good. So we'll see how that goes. But after that, though, definitely Detroit and Cincinnati, the 27th to 28th of March. Check those out. And also Cincinnati. Like if you saw us in Indianapolis, Cincinnati will be a different show. I know that's close, so that's going to be a different show. So if you're on the fence there, you can go do that. There's a few tickets left for both of those. Nashville sold out. Austin and Oklahoma City after that. Get your tickets right now. We're very excited. Besides that, definitely, if you want to be one of our heroes, one of our producers, very easy to do. You can also, if you want to get bonus content, this week, another bonus episode. Not a murder case this week. This week, we're going to delve into something crazy we found in Crime and Sports that we've had a lot of fun with. We've done the prisoner dating game, but we found crazy personal ads from like 30 years ago.
They're so much fun.
Hilarious. And we are going to do a whole show on them, a bonus episode that comes out Friday for Patreon, $5 and above. If you want to be a part of that, very easy to do. You can go over to patreon.com/crimeandsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. And God, every cent is so appreciated, and we're going to gush about these people, our fine producers, at the end of the show and say how much we love them. Besides that, it's time for a quick disclaimer. This is a comedy show. It's a comedy show. That's all it is. It's a comedy show. There's murder involved. There is. People are going to die. It happens. It's a murder show. People die every day. No matter what we do, they're not coming back. So we are going to make jokes. We're going to make jokes about small towns. We're going to make jokes about, like, if a police force screws something up for 20 years and a murderer walks free, we'll make fun of murderers because we have no other way to get back at them. So that's what we're going to do. What we try not to do, we go out of our way not to do, is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
Hell yeah.
So with that said, I think we're going to have a great time here. Get in the car. We're on the way to the liquor store. Let's do this. That's the thing. If you're on board now, we're going to have a good time. It's like you're in the car on the way to a liquor store to rob the liquor store.
You all know what's going to happen.
You know it's good. If somebody accidentally panics and squeezes a trigger, and you never know, and the little woman's brains end up all over the vodka and the Marlboro cartons behind the counter there, you know what happens there. You're all just
guilty.
as responsible. That's the thing. So I don't want to hear any complaining afterwards. If you get any on you, that's what we're saying. So
that and the life sentence. We're all going down together.
If you don't think comedy and crime should ever go together, then this probably isn't for you generally. But if you want to have a good time and hear about a murder that has a lot of comedy all around it, then I think it's time to sit back and shout, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this, Jimmy.
Great.
Let's go on a trip.
I'd love it.
What do you say? Let's get the hell out of here.
Sure.
It's rainy in Phoenix, which is
miserable.
Weird. So I love it. I love the rain, especially
it's going to be
in the
so
desert.
many days of this, though.
It's so great. It never happens.
That's
Take
true.
it now. It's going to go 6 months later, but that's all right.
It was cold today. James,
I
was freezing.
It's chilly.
My
It's
teeth were
raining.
chattering.
Well, we're going all the way this week. We're getting out of everywhere. We're going to New Jersey.
Oh,
look at us.
Gross.
Oh my. Yeah, it's not any better. We're going to New Jersey, the Florida of the North. Everybody,
where the rain stings your skin.
Oh yeah, very nice. Chatham Township, New Jersey, as a matter of fact. It's in north central New Jersey, and just up there, we'll find it's about 40 minutes away from New York City. So very commutable to New York City. About an hour and 35 minutes to Philadelphia, over to the west there, and about an hour to Ocean Township, New Jersey. Our last Jersey episode, which was 147 there. It wasn't too long ago, November. But sometimes you got to dip back into the waters.
It's still
a few months ago. This is in Morris County, zip code 07928, 973 area code. It's about 9 square miles, decent sized little area here. Now, history of this town we'll talk about. We'll breeze over pretty quickly because not a lot's really happened here. No, the first kind of white settlers, I guess, quote unquote, arrived here about 1710 because it was fertile. There was good soil and there was iron ore deposits in the region as well. Okay. So people wanted to come here. And during the Revolutionary War, this was a big people going through here like crazy, the armies going through here. So they were a big part of the whole Revolutionary War process, as most of the Northeast was. I mean, it was pretty heavily involved here. So this village here used to be in Morris Township, it was called, which was during the Revolutionary War, but then they ended up getting their own space. And in 1892, Chatham seceded from the new township. Oh, we're out of here.
We want our own.
No part of you fucking people. How dare you people that would do what you're doing?
This township.
I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, stop doing it. We're out of here. So, they did that. The township form of government is the oldest form of municipal government in the state of New Jersey.
Really?
So, I don't know.
And it's mostly Jersey that does townships, right? Or is it only
There's
Jersey?
Michigan, too. Michigan has tons of townships.
Just a bunch of towns that come
a lot of
together
townships.
And pool their money.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, there was a big thing about them, too, they had a big argument about one town was like they were all paying money, but like they weren't fixing up one part of town. They had like a big apportionment fight. It was pretty boring, so I didn't put it in there.
It seems like something that would be that would happen where you put everybody's money together and the bigger town's going to be like, we're going to buy this, we're going to buy that.
No violence. Nobody burned anything down. So I was like, they don't need to hear about this shit. Nobody cares. So, it didn't matter. But in the late 1870s and 1880s, Chatham Township became a center of the rose growing industry.
Really?
Yeah, just growing roses like crazy, apparently. The specialty of Lewis M. No greenhouses was the American Beauty rose with a stem that's 5 feet long.
Mike, what?
5 feet long.
You need that for?
What the hell do you? Here you go. Gee, thanks. Well, I'll walk it home because it won't fit in my car, I guess.
I'll have to get on a ladder to look at this fucking thing.
Hold the back seat down. I'm going to put my rose in. What the hell is that?
5 fucking feet long.
Too much.
That's a lot of stem.
At Christmas, he would send them to European royalty. Queen Victoria received 50 of them for her on her golden anniversary.
When she got them, she was like, I'm sure these were nice when they were alive.
Yeah, that's a long way. Jesus Christ.
It's got to go across the ocean?
Yeah.
And you expect that to live?
I don't think so. It took weeks back then to get across the ocean.
You ever sent those for a holiday? They're dead 3 days later.
You couldn't overnight them or anything. I mean, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Maybe I don't know.
When they're crystallized, they're nice.
They're still nice.
Put in a bath.
I don't know. I guess they're still beautiful. It's all in the stem, Jimmy.
That's probably what it was. She's like, fuck the rose. Look how long this shit is.
That's it.
This is impressive.
This is great. Knock that shit off the top of it. Put those stems up on the wall.
Morticia Adams would have loved them.
Oh, absolutely. So during World War II, there was a construction ban for 5 years because materials were needed for other things. Sure. So nothing must have been hard to live during World War II.
I can't imagine.
Obviously, if you were in the war, it was really hard. But if you were home, even you couldn't get things. They didn't make new cars. They didn't make. You couldn't.
It was rationed
build shit.
For the war.
Everything was rationed.
Hey, you want a new car, Nancy?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a war on.
There's a fucking war going on. I don't know.
What the fuck do you want from us?
Can't have one now. Yeah, that's the way it was. Though. It must have been really difficult. Everything. People were giving their tin over to the government.
The Red Baron is in the skies. We need planes up there, Martha. No Plymouth for you.
You're not getting it. You're not getting shit. Some guy wanting a new Cadillac. Right. I'm important. More important than Hitler.
So's the safety of our country, motherfucker. Walk. Ride the bus.
Or just drive the car you have already and just have a new one. That's all. There were still cars.
It still runs.
They didn't ban cars, just building new ones. Fix the old one, asshole. They've been doing it in Cuba for 70 years. Or 60 years. Enjoy. So, but the problem was after this, people wanted to move here and not just grow roses. People wanted to move here and live here because it's a suburb of New York City. So after World War II, when the highway system started getting better, it made it easier to get there. You're obviously, and that was kind of also when New York City was, people were running to the suburbs. Sure. So at that point, people came and rather than having just a shitload of big farms, they would break the farms into a bunch of home sites and, building neighborhoods and what are they called? Like
Tracks, like a subdivision?
Subdivision, there you go. I don't know what the hell that word escaped me.
I don't know. I was going with track homes.
Like crazy, but
it's just what's inside them.
These are all luxurious homes, though. This is this is a wealthy area.
Custom home subs?
Oh, yeah. No, these are big houses with nice properties. Yeah. These aren't like crammed in together or anything like that. Some of the Rose Farms, or a bunch of the Rose Farms, became 2 big shopping centers. So that kind of sucks there. Yeah. That's kind of shitty. In 1959, the Port Authority, they checked. They call it the Great Swamp there. There's a big swamp where there used to be a glacier in that area, and there's a swamp. Yeah. So they wanted to put an airport in the Great Swamp area.
Okay.
Rather than make it like a wilderness area that it is now. They said, how about an airport?
Right.
And so apparently all the neighboring municipalities and all the residents and everything all got together and got it to voted no on that, got them to not do that. When you get a bunch of rich people that want something, generally they get it.
They get it.
If they don't want an airport in their neighborhood, there ain't going to be an airport in their neighborhood. In every major city, every city you live in, people live in cities with airports. Where's the airport?
Yeah.
Is it in the rich neighborhood?
Rarely.
Nope.
No.
Guess what? It's not. Ever. So, yeah, that says a lot right there.
It's near a street that's like early numbers, like 12th Street,
and
or like a dead president.
Yeah, where's the railroad station? It'll be around there, which is also not the best part of town. Now that place is an open space where joggers and hikers and nature lovers go around. It's untouched now instead. Okay. Now it's just beautiful.
It's like a swamp preserve.
It's a preserve now, beautiful. So it's just a beautiful area where people can walk around and do shit. But yeah, people are moving out of here, are moving into here, and driving into New York City for the most part to work. And they really, in the 60s and 70s, a lot of rezoning started happening so people could do that, getting rid of farms. They had a huge farm there called Schwartz Farm that had dairy products that were sold in all the local areas.
Really?
And local stores and schools and everything like that, and they got rid of that even because it's all residential now. Rich people moving in, everybody there.
I'll import our milk, thank you.
That's right. Heil, Jesus.
Oh boy.
Heil, it's Hiyl, but still Heil.
It's still Heil.
Heil Roses in Green Village was the last and oldest commercial rose and cut flower grower in New Jersey, and it finally closed in 1999. So yeah, now it's just rich people. And we have some reviews. Now, a lot of people like this town. A lot of beautiful, stately, a lot of adjectives flying around of gorgeous and leafy and shit like that. Not everyone loves it though. No? And I found the people who might not be as enthusiastic as some of the other people here.
The people who got to maintain it.
I found a couple of 1-star reviews here. I found 1 star. Quote, it used to be a lovely, friendly town. Now it has become pretentious and filled with newcomers who in many cases are trying to shape the culture to their liking rather than maintaining the low-key, friendly vibe that attracted them in the first place. First of all, that's hilarious. Yeah. That's old money people going, how dare they come in here now? That's like I heard, now I could be wrong, I heard a Puerto Rican family moved in down the block. Now, I won't tolerate that. Right. I mean, they've done nothing yet, but they're going to have a party or something. There'll be music playing. Yeah. They like horns, I believe. A lot of horns. I don't want to hear it.
I smelled a barbecue grill.
Did you smell a barbecue?
Awful.
Yeah, it
came through my air conditioner.
I picture like Niles on Frasier wrote this. You know what I mean? It's what,
yeah.
Like the one time they were looking for Maris, and he goes, one of the neighbors reported something called a minivan. But that was weeks ago. Remembered from weeks ago. That's what's going on here.
Hilarious.
Nothing. I love that, though. Just not the low-key thing that we do, where we barely make eye contact. And then it continues, quote, loud, ill-mannered, noisy, and entitled. Every house a teardown replaced by a $2 million and up behemoth. Really a huge change over the last 20 years. I see now why so many people put their kids move when the kids finish school. So
once they graduate, they get the fuck out of town.
Yeah. So this is probably because their house is worth $3 million and they don't need it anymore. Right. So they move somewhere.
And it's a bigger bigger house and they want to downsize, or they just want to move somewhere,
That happens a lot with rich people. They don't stay in the big house they had with kids. But that's an obvious review of very specific.
Yeah, the guy says behemoth.
He's
a well-to-do fella.
A couple people moved into the neighborhood that he doesn't like, and the whole town's shit now.
He's furious.
Here's another 1-star here. This is for different reasons, though. You'll find a variety. 1-star, there's not a lot to do in this area aside from going to a friend's house. There are no fun attractions in or around our town. The closest place for attractions would probably be New York City. Oh, gee. Well, sorry, you only have New York City right. It's 40 minutes away. It's not that far away. It's fucking right there.
You can see it.
It's right there. Like, I'm sorry. You don't need shit to do in your town, because right there is everything you could ever fucking want to do in the history of the world is in front of you.
That's
you
awesome.
Stupid asshole. 1-star.
1-star for living in New York City's fucking shadow.
Yeah, 1-star because that's why people move there, because they don't want all the shit. They want to be able to just go to New York City and then get away from it. You're
literally close enough to New York City to get a New York City rat on your property.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Sneak on crawl right over the river. There's plenty in Jersey City and all that. They'll get to you eventually.
Ridiculous.
Jesus Christ. People in this town, population 10,452. Okay. Now that's in the township. And there's Chatham Township and there's Chatham, which is a separate thing, all encompassed in the same area. And kind of the township population's included in Chatham's population there. So there's more in the regular Chatham.
Got it.
Some of these stats are from Chatham, but it's all the same area. Okay. Doesn't matter. Shouldn't have said any of that. Anyway, moving on. Male-female populations are pretty even, but a lot of 5 to 14-year-old kids in this area and a lot of 45 to 54-year-old people.
There you go.
So that's, people with money who had kids a little bit later, have their kids now.
They made money and then had children and were not idiots like me.
And build $2 million behemoth houses.
Because they can afford it.
Because they can afford it. Because, they work in New York City and have good money.
They planned their life correct, and I didn't.
I did a bad job myself. So, sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
So, married people in this town's way more. Usually it's 50-50. Here it's 65%. All these wealthy towns, we get that. Everybody is not a lot of... the divorce rate's lower. Yeah. People stay together. There's money that keeps them together. It's different. Single with no children, party town, 3%. Get on out there. Good luck.
Yeah.
3 out of 100 people if you're looking for that. Race of this town, 81.1% white. Okay. So it's pretty white. 1.7% black. 9.5% Asian.
Interesting.
Which is like double the average Asian population, which is funny. Maybe those people don't like Asians in that review.
Or, that's a thing, too.
That's possible.
They're a fucking culture on us.
Yeah, they're coming in with their... They did say
that.
They
said bring in their culture.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I think they're talking about all the Asians.
That's fucked up.
Oh, my God. This old lady's like, I'm going to write a review for all these Asians coming in. Who would take to the internet for that?
I don't know, man.
Is there more Asian? That's it. I'm getting my laptop out. Like, what are you doing? Who cares? 6.3% Hispanic.
Yeah.
Crazy. 60% of the people here are religious. I guess they're happy for what they've received.
Okay.
And they're going to pray for it.
Hang on to it.
43% Catholic, as you're going to find. Catholics are, of course, the Baptists of the North, as we know. A few Lutherans, couple of Methodists, 1.6% Jewish.
Hell yeah.
Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila. I don't know the words. Hey, all right, good. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Do they
say something at the end?
I don't think there's a hiya, probably, I doubt, at the end of it. I'm going to go ahead and say no.
What about a yeehaw?
I doubt a yeehaw. And maybe there's like a shaman, like a Michael Jackson.
Is there a play ball?
Like a James Brown, like a ha, wah, wah. Touch myself.
Yeah, touch myself.
I think that's how it ends. I'm not positive.
I want it to be touch myself.
I think in Temple they add that part on, not like at the hockey game, but if you hear it like during a bar mitzvah,
right.
That's what's going to happen there.
Touch myself, then they smash glass. Smash a shot glass and a napkin.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works there. I doubt there's that at the end of it. Really don't think so. So in the Morris County here, that last election, 46% Democrat and 50% Republican, about 5% independent. Here, the unemployment rate is low here. The money is high. Median household income in the rest of the country is $57,000. Here it is $173,929.
Wow.
So a little bit more than the average, like more than 3 times that. 45% of the people here make over $200,000 a year.
That's a lot of homeowners.
That's a lot of very comfortable, very happy people. Wow.
That'll keep your marriage together.
That's what I mean. That'll keep the divorce rate down.
I'll keep those blowjobs happening.
I don't like him anymore. I'm going on a vacation for a week. Okay, it's funny how you can just
That is a nice bonus, honey. Did you say boner?
Whatever.
I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Bring it over
Either
here.
way. About 5% of the people make under $30,000 a year, which is way under normal. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Right.
It's a lot of professional jobs, white collar. You can commute to the city, so it's right there. Cost of living, 100 being like, regular, average, par here. Here it is 194.2. So a little bit high, we'll say. And the real high thing is housing. Yeah. The housing is nuts. $355
$1 million behemoths, James.
$355 out of 100 is housing. The median home cost is $820,700.
That's the wowza.
That's the median home cost.
My God,
a little fucking pricey.
Yeah.
Looking at like what is available, like housing wise, like the value of properties, basically under 200,000 is like 3% of the houses are worth under 200,000. Most of the houses fall in the 500 to 1.5 million range. Like 75% of the houses fall in that range. So it's a little pricey, let's just say, to live here. And if we've convinced you, damn it, there is nothing else for you to do but move to this place. We have for you the Chatham Township, New Jersey Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is this seems like the deal, actually, because it's in ratio to the housing prices, it's $2,110, which is still pricey.
But you don't even own it.
That's like, well, compared to this, I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,381 square foot house.
It's a small house.
Nice, clean, nice, $719,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's,
wow.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, New York City.
Wow, I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,100 square foot house here. Very nice. $899,000.
Fuck.
It's pricey. You're going to pay for shit. Then you want to stretch out. You want to get, T-bowls for your B-holes. You can do it here. 6-bedroom, 6-bath. 4,868 square foot. Beautiful. It's so pretty. It has pink trees that frame the door in the front yard. It's ridiculously nice.
Like pink flowering tree?
Pink big,
unbelievable.
The picture's just flowers, all pink. $1,689,000. So,
God, I gotta make some money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How much are pink trees? Can I just get pink trees instead? Because I can't afford that.
I feel like that can make a house look like it's worth some money.
You know what I'm saying? You throw a couple of pink trees in front of my house, I think it's a different story. I think people are going, I think they're going to have a different attitude about where I'm living.
There is a desert willow that has like magenta and white flowers. And it is amazing for like 3 weeks until all those burn the fuck off.
Then it's just a piece of shit. That's all the flowers here.
Right.
Remember my old house had this ivy on it outside in the one part.
Like
remember?
The yellow, was it the yellow flowers?
Yeah, it had this
bright ass yellow.
And then for like 3 weeks in the spring, the whole thing would explode in these giant, like bell-shaped, beautiful yellow flowers that were gorgeous all on the outside, and then they die after 3 weeks.
And the fire would weather would just refuse to let it grow. It stays green. It looks nice, but
fine, but
the flowers would be great.
No, gone. Who knows? What are you going to do? So pink trees, everybody. Trust me. Put it in your yard. It'll look better.
Changes everything.
Changes it all, man. It'll change your whole attitude.
Yeah.
Things to do here. Oh, buddy. Here we go. Very exciting. The apple cidering is a big deal here.
Of course.
Go apple cidering. Very big deal. Saturdays and Sundays in the fall. Apparently it costs $4 to do this. They say, quote, the perfect fall family tradition. Well then.
So you're making the cider?
Make delicious homemade apple cider using an old-fashioned hand-cranked cider press. Jesus, that sounds like a lot of work.
That's the allure?
Yeah, can I make butter when I'm done?
Yeah.
What am I, Amish now? What the fuck am I doing?
Why am I working?
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
Buy this.
I'll drink it, but
right.
Jesus. And learn fun facts about the amazing apple. Wow, I'm excited already. Best of all, enjoy the fruits of your label and sample the fresh cider. I fucking hope so. What am I making it for them to bottle now?
I do appreciate they threw fruits in there.
Fruits of your label. Yeah, that's nice.
Clever.
Rain or shine, everybody. Yeah. So you can sit there hand cranking apples in the rain.
Fucking
rain. Great. How great does that sound? And pay $4 for the privilege. Yay. 973-635-6629 if you want to get in on that. That's
Call
the phone number.
Oh,
yeah. For more information, you got to go in there. Also, the Maple Sugar Festival. Now, we had a maple syrup festival last week. It's a maple sugar festival they have here now. The country's batshit for maple, everybody. If you're not from the U.S. and you're listening right now, for some reason, we weren't aware of it either. This country's fucking crazy for maple.
We've been built on maple and we didn't even know it.
Yeah. And by the way, here's another thing, quickly off the subject. British people, all our UK listeners, what I find it amazing when you greet each other and you say, all right, is that what's up? That's what's up, right? So they just go, all right. And you're like, are you saying all right? Like, are you all right? And he
That's
says,
what they're saying.
But you're not. Right? But they're not asking if you're all right. They're just saying all right. It's like, what's up? You're not asking the person. Well, I just came from here and I went there. They're just going to go, hey, what's up?
You got a list full of shit to do.
Just wanted to clarify that. It's been bothering me lately. So anyway,
it is bizarre.
It's interesting. Well, we say what's up. It's the same thing. It's a question that we don't want an answer for. It's weird.
You answer this. I swear to Christ.
Here, have a rhetorical question that I'm not really interested in the answer to. Weird.
It's the same with how are you doing? We don't. We genuinely don't care.
No, say how you doing.
How you doing?
That's all right. It's what's up. Same shit.
So stop asking unless you want to know.
Yeah, because I'll tell you next time if I ever go to the UK. Well, let me tell you.
It's the thing.
So March 14th, this is going on here. The it's $5 Maple Sugar Festival. Rain or shine again. These people will make cider and maple.
Is that just brown sugar?
I don't know. Maple Sugar Festival activities are hikes through maple sugaring history. Okay. You hike through maple sugar history. It's a weird thing.
Every checkpoint you get a fact.
Games, maple syrup snow cones.
Gross.
That sounds disgusting. Ew. That sounds terrible. Yeah. I'm sorry. That sounds terrible. That really does. I don't want a maple syrup snow cone. It sounds thick and gross and weird.
It's sticky.
And nasty. There's crafts, syrup taste tests. Okay, and much more. $5.
How do you taste? I guess you can use a stick to make it more sanitary, but I just see a bunch of gluttonous fucks jamming their finger.
That's like a bear. Yeah. That's what I saw.
Like Winnie the Pooh.
People, dipping their paw in and just putting it all up.
Just sucking on fingers.
Dripping down their chips. It's good. I like this one best.
That's where coronavirus patient zero's at.
That's it right there. The Stamp Festival. Avoid the Maple Sugar Festival, everybody. Crime rate in this town. Well, let me tell you, just rather than give you the rates and all that sort of thing and murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore and all that sort of thing. Let me just read something from an insurance company thing that was out here, an article. In 2018, Chatham Township has been named one of the 30 safest small towns in America by this group of insurance companies that does that shit. Only towns with populations under 30,000 were considered, so that's us. To make the rankings, the company looked at sites, including a bunch of different sites for crime data. Chatham was one of two Morris County towns to make the list here. Insurance companies, this is what they said about Chatham. Quote, there were not any violent crimes reported in Chatham in 2016.
Zero.
There were not any murder, rape, robbery, assault. None of those in 2016.
Unbelievable.
And Chatham, not just the township, the town has like 17,000 people in it. No violent crime.
Not even just that, but being 40 minutes from New York, nobody even passed through.
Nobody wandered in by accident.
Right, with a kidnapping and just did it all there.
Nope, just robbed a guy. Like, hey, we'll go there. It's rich. We can rob people. Nope, none of that shit. And of the 49 total crimes reported, that's less than one crime a week reported.
No kidding.
So if you're that police force, you're sitting there literally one call a week will come in, maybe none. That's your day.
Well, there may be more calls than that.
But not for crime. Not anything that's pertinent.
People are calling going, all right.
I got in a car. All right. And they hang up. Sheriff's Department, the Reno 911. All right. Click, done. That's what they're doing. It's just car accidents and shit like that. They're getting
Sheriff's
cats out of trees.
All right, just new boot goofing.
New boot goofing. So,
unbelievable.
What the hell kind of life is that if you're a police officer in that town?
2, 1? How many do you think they got?
There's only 49 crimes, but out of the 49 crimes, 39 were instances of petty theft.
Unbelievable.
So it's just maybe a kid shoplifting or something. Literally, that's the crime that's going on in
Or
this
even
town.
somebody taking something, forgetting that they put it on their baby carriage and walked out.
Who knows? That's petty theft.
Yeah.
Not even like theft.
Right.
Just stole something small. It's not worth shit. So this place is insanely safe.
Yeah.
Such statistics, according to these insurance companies, make Chatham's overall crime rate 81% lower than the national average and give Chatham residents a, quote, 0.5 chance of becoming victim to a crime.
That is so safe.
So, yeah, if you have $800,000 to spend, this is a great place to raise kids, I guess, if you don't like Asians, I suppose.
Is there a fucking gate on the town? How do they do that?
I don't know how they do that.
That's amazing.
I believe that this is probably one of those towns where if you drive through it and you're not recognized, you will get pulled over and fucking fucked with, probably.
Or maybe it's just like there's a turnoff for it to get to it, and it's just off the beaten path. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true, too.
Be.
That's true, too. Yeah, maybe it's a little
it's just that
out of the way.
It's not convenient to go through it.
I guess not, but no one's doing any crime. I don't know what's going on here.
Even if that's the case, that it's off the beaten path, that doesn't explain 17,000 people just getting along in harmony.
Having less than one crime a week. It's insanity.
Not even a dude punching out his neighbor.
Nothing. No, it never happened.
No,
not one time. No violent crimes. It's wild. So with that said, let's talk about a horrific murder. What do you say?
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Great.
Didn't happen in 2016.
Obviously.
But let's go back to August 26th of the year 2000. Okay. Pre 9/11.
Yeah.
Like right before.
Yeah.
Things are rosy.
You got a year before
well.
it's about to take a shit.
Yeah, it's a year and a few weeks. You're doing fine. Everything's great. On this particular morning, the police do get a call, and it's not for a petty theft.
No.
They probably had to wake the guy up.
Right.
I just picture the cop feet up on the desk, feet, crossed with the sheriff cowboy hat over his eyes, sleeping.
Or an actual sleeping mask.
But like his fingers folded over his chest. Like Hopper from Stranger Things, basically, like after a rough night. First season Hopper, when he was hurting, drinking a lot and shit.
Fingers in the form of the steeple. Crossed
right
nicely.
on his chest, hat down, phone rang at 6:48 a.m. Jesus H. Christ, the hell's...
I'm trying to sleep.
Oh, for the love of Christ, I haven't even had my coffee yet. Fuck, man, I'm still drunk. This is insanity. So it is a call to come to a house in town here. And when police arrive, they knock on the door, and they are greeted by a 55-year-old woman, quite disheveled in her nightgown, but looks like doesn't look like she's been out of that nightgown in a while. Kind of looks like she's been living in this nightgown. She answers the door, and according to the police, when she answered the door, the police asked, what's going on? You called at 6:48 in the petty theft? They showed up. All right? She went, no, not all right.
Not at all.
Not at all. She said, quote, something is terribly wrong. And they said, okay. They know of this family, and so they knew that her elderly parents lived there, and they said, are your parents dead? And she said, yes. They're dead.
Lucky guess.
Yeah, lucky guess. They're dead. Something went terribly wrong. And something did go terribly wrong.
Oh, boy.
This is wild.
Both parents.
The parents who are dead are Idella. They're the Hagens, Hagen. Idella Hagen, who is 92 years old at that moment, born in 1908.
Unbelievable.
1908.
Unreal.
Think about that. Holy shit. She might be does she beat Stillwater, New York?
Person.
I think she was born in 1909, I think, that lady. So look at that.
Wow.
Oldest victim. Look at this. Setting records every day. And her husband, James, who, she was grave. She was cradle robbing here. He was 86.
Oh, go
born
get
in
it.
1914. She was like, I like a younger man. Yeah. He's a little more spry. I like that. That's what I'm talking about. Think about that. She was on the prowl, like in the 30s when they got together, probably, or the 40s or whatever. Like that was considered she was a cougar.
And he was born in the next decade.
Yeah.
When they were born, the life expectancy was like 45.
Oh yeah, shit happened.
She might outlive him like tomorrow.
They're born pre-penicillin, man. I mean, dude, things happen.
Yeah,
bad things happened all the time. Horrible things,
disfiguring things,
horrible
that are
nasty,
permanent.
Yeah, and that are now nothing.
Doesn't even happen.
Nothing. So here, James was an optician. Something to do with eyes, I believe. You wear glasses. I know there's an
optometrist.
That's what I mean.
Does the optician?
Optician.
Are they the people that work on the? I think they're the people that work on the glasses.
I'm not sure.
I think so.
Ophthalmologists he worked with a lot.
Yeah, I think that's the person that does the eye
exam.
and the
You should know this. You've worn glasses since.
An optometrist.
When did you get glasses, Jimmy?
I've been wearing them for 20 years.
8?
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? You should know this stuff.
Way too long.
Okay.
To know that I've seen probably all of these professions. Don't know what the fuck they do.
Okay, good. So I have no idea.
Optometrist, optician.
I don't feel bad. Then I have no way of knowing because I don't wear glasses, so I wouldn't know how the fuck that works.
I imagine that's the guy that makes the glasses.
It sounds like it. He sounds important.
Yeah.
So he's an optician. I guess he was, he'd work with ophthalmologists and all that sort of thing. And, they were kind of stern people, very ambitious and wanted to, like a lot of people who came up. Think about this during the Great Depression. The age they were was very formative. I mean, you'd be scared shitless of money, and you'd want to save your money, and it's kind of how they were. They were real studious and very interested in academics, especially when they had a daughter. They have a daughter in 1945, November 15th, 1945, as a matter of fact, to be exact. She is Adela after her mother. Kathleen is her middle name, Hagen. Everybody calls her Kathleen or Kathy. Kathy in her younger years, and then when she grows up, as we'll talk about, she becomes pretty important, and she drops the Kathy for Kathleen.
Really?
Yeah, no more Big Willie. My game's grown. Prefer you call me William, as Jay-Z once said.
Okay.
So, it's that's her deal. I think.
Before you call me William.
Before you call me William. That was a fucking funny line. Anyway, Kathleen here, they raise her to be very, very academically conscious, basically. Yeah. It's all about school. It's all about do well. It's their only child.
Really?
They have one child, and they're not happy she's not a boy.
Oh.
Right away.
Really?
Not thrilled about that.
Dad's pissed?
They're both pissed. They both want... Nobody's happy with this arrangement. They both want a boy. Dad wants a boy to follow in his footsteps. Yeah. Not thrilled with a young girl at all. But...
And when she was born, there was no, they didn't know.
No, it just came out and it was
and the dad was like, fuck!
Girl!
And she's like,
shit.
I know! I'm so sorry!
I'm sorry, you fucking bitch! He slams his
Punch me, I deserve it!
Slams his beer bottle against the wall and runs out. That's what happened in the 40s. That was a typical thing. And then she spent the next 12 years apologizing that her egg didn't choose the correct sperm. And
then they named her Kathy and just put upon all their
it's all put upon right there. I'm gonna put it all upon.
Don't worry, I'll call her Kathy.
It's okay. Well, first I'm gonna
put all this on her.
I'm gonna name her Idella first. Just to screw her up a little bit, because that's a very popular kid name right now. Name. All those 50 songs, Help Me Rhonda. There's a lot of Idellas.
Yeah.
I want you, Idella. I did. That was never a song.
Nope.
No, the Beach Boys never sang about it. Just never happened. So weird. For every other song that happened, you'd imagine Idella would come up somewhere.
Poor girl.
Nope. There's no, come on, Idella.
No.
That song doesn't exist at all.
Doesn't happen.
So, but she grows up.
Sweet Idella.
Ba, ba, ba.
Your name's so goddamn dumb.
Fuck me. Your parents wished you had a day. Oh.
You disappoint your parents.
You better
since day one.
We're gonna pretend you're a boy. Ba, 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 da, da, da.
Unbelievable.
You got a bad name. Jesus Christ.
Poor Adela.
Poor Adela. So Adela here, Kathleen. So she grows up very much into academics, like we said. Grows up around her father being an optician, and she would see him work with different doctors and stuff like that. And she had an interest in a medical type of thing. And one thing they did do for her, which is better, because in 1945, back then, a lot of times, not everybody, but most people that had daughters would be like, okay, by the time you're 19, you either got to marry a guy with a good career, or we got to ship you off to secretary school and get you some kind of fucking steady work as a nurse or a secretary or some, something like that.
Jump up those words for a minute.
See Mad Men. That's what it was. It was like, go get this job if you can't get married right away, and then while you're at this job, you better be hunting for a husband over there in middle management, because otherwise what's going to happen to you? They didn't treat her like that. They wanted her to be a boy, so they just treated her like one in terms of how they would treat boys back then, and try to, you need to achieve and you need to do well in school. They didn't do that as much with girls back then, but they did that with her.
Is that the first feminism and the first supporting of a woman, or is it
supporting of a woman going, you have no dick, you useless fucking... God, I hate you. Do your work. Just do your schoolwork.
When you get married, my fucking legacy goes away.
That's right. I'm going to be a legend. They're going to give awards with my name on them because of what I'm doing here.
Not your name.
Not your name.
You'll see.
I'm the feminist. So, no, I don't know what that's a shitty way to raise your kids, to be mean to them. Yeah. But in the end, it ended up, like I said, making it so she wasn't treated like a lot of the girls were back then to... they're going to be subjugated. She was actually they were like, no, you're going to have your own career path.
Kind of cool. It's empowering.
It is. If they were nice to her too, it would have been great. But they were also kind of a little bit stern on it, and making sure that she knows that she's not a boy and that they're disappointed in that as well. So that is a really weird thing here.
Wish we could have named you Isaac.
Yeah, no shit. In high school, she had a summer job with a doctor that got her even more interested in medicine and things like that. also in high school, her classmates, like I said, she was called Kathy. She's known as an attractive, well-groomed, fun-loving type of person who graduated from the Barbizon Modeling School as well.
She's hot.
Which is, yeah, she's very pretty. I'll show you a picture of her here, too. No, she's very pretty.
Well, be proud of your daughter, man.
It's just, Barbizon, if you've heard
that was a joke.
Listen to punchline. Yeah, Sebastian Maniscalco is the funniest person ever talking about Barbizon, comedian Sebastian Maniscalco. The way he says it, Barbizon. It's fucking Barbizon. He talks about how he went to Barbizon. Because I first got to LA, he goes, I got these headshots. He tells this whole story about how he would send headshots out to casting directors from his fucking Barbizon pictures. It's like, take a picture of me in the weeds or something and send it to a casting director.
It's like crawling through the weeds.
Fucking hilarious
with a
story.
Hand up like a tiger.
It's such a funny story. It was on a podcast. It's so fucking funny.
I want to hear it.
It's great. So, anyway, Barbizon Modeling School she went to. As a teenager, though, she does have some mood issues. She is going to be diagnosed bipolar, manic depressive. It's manic depressive back then, and back then it was probably just called I don't know. She's got funny periods. Cheer up, bitch. I don't know. This is in the cheer up, bitch era.
Right.
As we talked about with Betty Lou Beats. This is in the what are you crazy? What do you got postpartum or you got bipolar? I don't know. Cheer up, bitch. What do you got to worry about? Why don't you get married?
Right.
That's that'll fix you up. That's what they'd say back then.
You want to go on the nut farm? We'll have Fred over there with a dildo just ramming you.
Yeah, she can do it.
That'll solve it.
So,
Go fuck yourself. If you don't, our boyfriend will. He's a janitor.
Sweet Adila. Ba, ba, ba. You better do well in school, you disappointing bitch. Itch. Oh.
I feel so bad for her.
Have no penis. Ba, ba, da, da, da. Such a disappointment now. Sorry. Just sing that forever. So she has these problems there, and they said it ran in her family as well. Like it was a family thing, and obviously there's nothing fun. We're laughing because we obviously don't take any sort of mental illness lightly.
No,
clearly on the shows we talked about.
Point.
That's why
neither did they.
That's
take it
the
serious.
point. That's what I'm trying to get to. They're not taking it seriously, so we're like, what the fuck? This is a serious thing. And if you have a teenager who's manic depressive back then, bipolar now, that's
horrifying.
It's a bad thing, and you need to help the person. And obviously, so don't be like, they're laughing at bipolar. No, we're not.
It's a danger to herself and others.
We're not. Yeah, it's not at all. Nothing funny about it, and we know that. We have our own fucking issues, so don't worry.
See a therapist every 2 weeks.
There you go. So she graduates from Chatham High School in 1963 here, but there's also a problem before the graduation. She apparently was physically abused by her parents pretty good, but nothing more than was... Well, we thought it was at first. Back then, people hit their kids.
Yeah.
That's it. In the 50s, if your kid acted up, you smacked them. There wasn't like, don't smack the kids. It wasn't even considered. It was just, that's what you do.
Right.
So, it's a sliding scale of really what was acceptable here. But her dad apparently used to really go overboard with it, and all the way up until she was 15 as well, which is... It's a little late.
Yeah.
It's a long time at that. That's 15. 15. Hey, I hit a 15-year-old girl. How do you hit a little girl, period, if you're a father? How do you do that?
I've whacked my daughter in the ass, and I'll be honest with you, it sucks. It hurts.
I've never hit my little girl.
I'll bet it hurt me. When my mom used to say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, I don't believe her to this day.
Yeah.
But I can say that to my I promise you, because I never hurt her.
No, but still,
and even just like
the guilt of anything,
right? Bopping her on the ass, like inside, I'm like, why'd you make me do that?
No good.
That feels awful.
She would later say that her father would be, quote, hitting her in places where she shouldn't have been hit, is what the way she put it. I don't know what that means, but you can, take from that whatever you want. That was her statement.
The face is somewhere you shouldn't be.
The face is somewhere you shouldn't be hit. I don't know if he was like, popping her in the genitalia or what. That'd be a weird punishment.
Punching her.
Let me kick you in the pussy's just a weird punishment to level on any child.
You know what it is? Bend over.
That's so strange. So I don't know.
I got to get low for this too.
Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous,
Bend
man.
over and spread them?
That's not be a weird way of punishment.
Yeah.
So she graduates. In her yearbook, the summation under her yearbook picture was, quote, "Her ways are the ways of pleasantness."
Oh.
Okay. Her biography said that she was either going to be an airplane stewardess or was going to have a modeling career, is what it said. That's what her friend said here. Called her a, quote, "sweet, kind, pretty girl who was very tall and carried herself nicely."
Hell yeah.
Yeah, a lot of girls back then, if they were tall, they would hunch over.
Yeah.
But she didn't give a shit.
Proud of herself.
Proud of herself. In her biography, on her yearbook there, it said that she was a graduate of the Barbizon Modeling School and was, quote, "partial to a green Impala." So much like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, she preferred a 6'4" Impala in green, though. That's what she liked.
That's hysterical.
That's pretty fucking awesome. That's what she was partial to. Here is, I'll show Jimmy here. This is her yearbook picture there. There she is. There she is there.
Oh,
very
she's
pretty
beautiful,
girl.
Yeah.
Tell me Agnes, though, isn't the Agnes
boy,
gets down.
that's
Agnes is dirty, I can tell.
That's her. She didn't win prom queen either.
No, Agnes
She's too dirty.
No, Agnes is dirty. No, Agnes doesn't want prom queen.
No.
Agnes didn't go to the prom.
No.
She's like, fuck those fucking losers.
She's out drinking a fifth.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I
the
like
back of a fucking rat rod.
Agnes is my girl there. I like her out of everybody in this. She's the one I'm picking up.
She's in the back of a car that wasn't a convertible, but now it is.
Now it is. She's like, yeah.
Hell
now
yeah.
I can feel, she's like with Kanicki in the back of a...
Or worse, that dude that was supposed to be 18,
The old
but was
guy.
clearly like
He's like
52
72 years old. That guy was like 55 hanging out. So was his girlfriend who came to the dance.
Right.
She was fucking, forget about it. She was like 46. She's dancing with John Travolta.
Blowing Danny.
Olivia Newton-John's jealous of this.
Right. Why?
Hey, she's friends with my ma. What are you doing? It's just my ma's friend. What are you jealous of? She went to college with my ma in the 40s. What are you talking about? So, speaking of college,
Rizzo's legit blowing Grey Bush.
oh yeah,
She's like
totally.
all
She don't
about
care.
it.
Yeah. So, speaking of college, Kathleen attends Douglas College. First, she attends a community college, and she attends Douglas College. Then the women's college at Rutgers. She also attends. There, she meets a young man.
Hell yeah.
1969. She meets Peter A. Cook, who is a graduate student at Rutgers, and he's an English fellow.
Yeah.
He's from Bedfordshire, England.
Bedfordshire, England.
Bedfordshire, England.
There we go.
All right.
Sounds beautiful. All
That's
right.
wonderful. All right. So she meets him at college at Rutgers there, and they become very close, and they marry in 1969. So there you go.
Sorry.
For what?
I can't help. I'm just laughing so hard because I can see
Yeah.
old Peter Cook and like calling out, "Mom, you're not going to believe it. I'm at some gash."
Yeah, in terms of the Jimmy, I forced Jimmy to watch The In-Betweeners, which is an
the
English
greatest
special.
fucking thing
It's
ever.
just a bunch of teenage English boys that are just trying to get women, and they're running around. They say the most horrible things. And they don't know any better, and it's funny as shit. Well, they do. The one guy says horrible things, and all the other ones are even like, yeah, that's not okay.
And I
But he
love
always
him.
he calls women, everything is, let's go get some gash. Like, it's not good. It's obviously not how you're supposed to react, but God damn it, is it funny in an English accent coming from a child, I gotta
Peter
say.
in my head is Jay. Mom,
Yeah.
you're not going to believe it. I'm at some clunge.
I see him more as Will, actually.
All right.
I see him more as Will.
Fingers crossed.
Graduate student.
Yeah.
I met a girl. Because he
She's lovely.
She's lovely. It's all excited, telling his mom. So
I hope it's him.
yeah, I hope it's him. Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope it's Will.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's not Neil. That would be a mess. So yeah. So they are married in 1969.
He has a ton of spunk.
A ton of spunk. He's got ungodly amount of spunk. That was the line. That was the line from In-Betweeners. So that's wonderful. No.
It's on Netflix. Go watch it. It's fantastic.
Tremendous. Yeah, go watch The In-Betweeners. It's ridiculous. So 1969, they get married. She's still in school. He's a graduate student. He's also obviously a graduate student that came across the pond to study. He's obviously, academically rigorous.
Academically rigorous, as well as he's got a little bit of cash to afford.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, he probably comes from a decent family, let's say. She is not done with school after Rutgers Women's College here. She decides, you know what, I want to go to medical school.
Wow.
So I'll go to Harvard Medical School.
That's where I choose.
That's where she goes. She goes to Harvard Medical School. She gets into Harvard Medical School. Wow. And this isn't a time when a lot of women were doing this, and they definitely weren't encouraged to be doing this.
Sure.
They were starting to be at this point, but it was rare, as we'll talk about how rare. Her friends at this point called her, quote, strikingly attractive. They called her a well-dressed blonde who loved to snorkel, ski, and sail.
Wow.
So she's living a life, man.
She's the shit.
She's going to Harvard. Yeah. She's tall and pretty and sailing and fucking snorkeling off the side of her sailboat. This sounds wonderful. Her best friend, who we'll talk to throughout this whole thing here, Charlotte Karash is her name. She says she called Kathy, quote, she was outgoing, bubbly, and fun to be with. She always wanted to be noticed. That was her best friend from back then. In 1973, she graduates from Harvard Medical School. Jesus, she's doing great.
She's a doctor.
She does she's an intern and a surgery resident too. She's going to be a surgeon at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston.
Yeah.
After she graduates in 73 up until 75, when she became the first woman to be appointed a urology resident at that hospital.
She's unbelievable.
Yeah, she breaks barriers. She's really a brilliant and ballsy and assertive person.
See what happens when you
get
beat
shit
your
done.
kids.
Apparently, if you tell them they're not good enough,
right?
Here's the thing:
they'll go show you.
This is what happens, though. If you tell them they're not good enough, just enough, they become groundbreaking doctors.
Right.
If you tell them too much, then they believe it, and they go out and do terrible things, and they end up on other episodes of our show.
Yeah.
If you tell them not enough, then they become comedians.
Right.
And then if you tell them not at all, then it's a different thing. So there's such a scale, you know. So that's the problem.
Then they're to make up their own mind how great they are, and that's dangerous.
And that's
too.
dangerous also.
Oh boy, is that dangerous!
I don't know. Maybe this was the right way to go, but
there's too many. There's far too many people that think they're amazing, and they certainly are not.
No, well, everybody, a lot of them. Far too many. Now, her parents, how proud would you be if your daughter graduated from Harvard Medical School and then became the first woman resident of anything at some hospital? Would you be like the most proud parent on earth?
I'd be beside myself and probably writing parenting books because I deserve it.
I'm the greatest parent. Look what I've done.
Right.
This is, how would you not? I mean, but the kid, I'd be so proud of the kid. Her parents, James and Adele, not so much.
No?
No.
Not impressed?
Not that impressed. I mean, they were... He said, yeah, that's great, but they're only giving you all this credit because you're a woman. You should have been a boy to begin with, and then you'd just be doing this. This is what you should be doing. I don't know why you're acting like this is such a big deal,
right?
Because you're a girl, and it's like, again, this fucking phantom penis that just doesn't exist. If it was on you, nobody would be making such a big deal.
Right.
Don't get so high on yourself.
Just be another urologist.
Yeah, he was like, don't be so high on yourself. There's plenty of guys doing this already, and so relax.
Wow.
Not too impressed.
How about the fact that doing it took a lot because she has to go against dudes?
Not only that, and a lot of, she also stayed there's a picture later on where I'll post it as on our social media as the picture of the at Small Town Murder on at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small Twitter, at Small Town Pod Facebook.
There you go.
I'll post the picture of the of her from this era when she's a doctor, and she's gorgeous. This woman too. She doesn't she doesn't try. A lot of women back then, and I just read this from women that would say this, professional women back then that would be in male dominated fields, law and medicine and things like that. They would purposely make themselves as unattractive as possible.
Really?
Absolutely, because they didn't want to be judged. They didn't want to be thought of as, because back then they go, pretty girl, go get us coffee. You know what I mean? It was like they wanted to be taken seriously, so they thought they couldn't be attractive and taken seriously at the same time.
A lot of chick comics do that.
Absolutely.
So much.
Yeah, I think
they do
that's
that on stage because they think
it's that.
No, well, they think
they don't want to piss off the women in the crowd, but at the same time, also, it's another reason. A lot of them are just have fucked up childhoods and don't want to look good for other reasons. Are trying to repel people for other reasons.
They also
that's a comic thing, by the way. I don't mean women comic. I mean men comics. It's just a comic thing.
You just don't want to be looking better than the women because women will not come see you if you are far too hot.
or you have to be a certain a little too much, and then you end up being some of these women. They'll all go up to Elijah Schlesinger. They'll all go out to her show just fine, and go see her. But
she will on her shows, like her comedy shows. She'll wear like shitty jeans and a shitty
ponytail and shit like that.
Pony t-shirt, just because she doesn't want to go get all dressed up.
Yeah, well then
she has a whole theory behind
Natasha Leggero, the opposite, who wears like a ball gown. Side note here, I opened for her one time. I opened for her one time. By the way, sweet as shit.
Oh my God,
wonderful person.
Eliza's one of the greatest people I've ever met.
Natasha Leggero was just very good to me, the other comic. Just sweet, great, nice person, great comic, everything like that. But she came in from the back of the club, which the stage door is on the stage.
Right. That's where the comics leave.
She said, introduce me, and then I'm going to come in from the back of the club with a basket full of roses and throw roses to the side as I come down the aisle from the back. Well, the odd thing is the other two comics before her, myself and the other guy, had come out from the stage. So that's where the people are looking for her to come out.
Right.
So they don't know that she's coming from behind them.
So there's just a weird lady throwing roses at the back of our heads.
And literally people getting hit in the face with roses going, ow, Jesus, because they didn't know it was coming because they didn't see her coming.
And it's dark as fuck
dark as fuck. I'm like, this isn't going the way you wanted it to go, I don't think. If anybody's seen her recently, I don't know if she still does that, if she figured out a way to make that work.
It's a great idea.
Funny, though. Yeah. It's funny after that. And it was pretty funny because she got up there and went, Jesus Christ, hitting people in the back of the head with flowers. So it kind of worked.
I'm so sorry. It's a good thing I didn't get those 5-foot long ones.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Fucking whipping them around the room. So 1979 comes along, and she ends up getting a divorce from her husband here.
From Peter?
From Peter. A. Cook. Peter A. Cook here. Peter says, quote, I think we came to an understanding that her principal emotional relationship was medicine rather than with me. So that's fair.
She loves her job.
She was into her career and didn't want to have a balance. She was more interested in her career. And hey, you know what? They didn't have any kids or anything like that. Okay. So that's just two adults where they're alive. They got together in college, pre-medical school. They didn't know this is where their lives were going to go. Shit happens. People decide they want different things in their lives. That's why you don't get married when you're fucking in your early 20s.
Right.
It's a good reason for it here.
Especially today.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Back then it was normal.
Right.
But yeah, she, at this point, by 1979, she's a fellow at the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York.
Sloan Kettering.
Yeah, Sloan Kettering. She is also appointed chief of the urology division at Rutgers Medical School in 1982 and was chief urologist at Rutgers Main Teaching Hospital, Middlesex General in New Brunswick. It's now Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital.
Wow.
And the medical school is also Robert Wood. So there's that. She at that point was one of only 6 board certified women urologists in the United States. 6.
Now, Dad?
6.
Now?
No.
If you were a man, there'd just be 6 men.
There should be 5, and then you with the other men. That's how it should be. These 5 women should be, should be without you.
Right.
Tell you what, why are you telling them you're a woman? Pretend you're a man. Make me proud. So
one of 6 people.
One of 6, which is it's weird. One of the other 6 reading this article was a woman in Fishkill, New York, which is where Racist Nan lived.
Right.
And I remember seeing her office and seeing that name all the time. When I read the name, I went, that's familiar. Yeah. She was one of the 6 only women urologists in the whole country.
One of 6.
Was in that town. Yeah, wow. It was like an hour north of the city.
Oh, so it's only 6 women.
6 women, board certified women urologists
in the
United States. There's only 6.
Unbelievable.
Which is fucking crazy. She's also appointed associate professor of surgery at the medical school as well. This is insane here. Chief of urology at Middlesex General Hospital. Wild stuff here. Additional specialty training as a medical oncology fellow at Sloan Kettering also there. And she's just crushing it. I mean,
it's Sloan Kettering and Mount Sinai are the two best, right, in the country?
I don't know.
I think
I'm not sure. They sound good.
Hopkins, Johns Hopkins. I don't know. These
Mayo
are the three.
Clinics. I know there's Mayo Clinics everywhere. But I don't know what they specialize in, because there's the Mayo Clinics where people go for certain
Sloan Kettering's
things.
A big fucking deal.
Yeah, it's a cancer center. Yeah, right. It's a big cancer center in New York there. So, she thought that she felt that the situation would change, and that she thought more women would enter urology. She said that the common misunderstanding. She was being interviewed in all sorts, and there's New York Times articles about her, just because she's so impressive. She explained that people think that urologists only treat men, but they don't, obviously.
I mean, that's the dude's gynecologist. I just found that out recently.
Yeah, but also women have also urological
of course.
treatment.
There's UTIs and shit.
There's all sorts of shit. It's a whole system that goes on in there.
But that's our dick doc.
That's the dick doc, yeah. So the professor and chairman of surgery here, Dr. James W. McKenzie, said, quote, "We are just extremely pleased that Dr. Hagen has joined us. She's a superb doctor." They said she was selected from many candidates nominated during a 2-year search for that position. They found her. She says that,
these facts are insane.
She's that impressive, really. She says, quote, "Historically, very few women seem to choose surgery, and urology has a prerequisite of 2 to 3 years of general surgery." So she said it's even rarer that they go through that and then that also.
Right.
It's all 6 of them.
We've been searching for 2 years for her.
For her.
Now, Dad?
It's honestly amazing. She said more women in medicine are now pursuing careers other than the traditional pediatrics and gynecology. That's where women traditionally went back in the day, children and vaginas. She said the stumbling block is there's so few women in surgery, but lifestyles are changing.
It just feels, doesn't that feel shitty too?
Yeah, it does. But that's what she's interested in. I know there's more to it.
You guys can be doctors.
There's a whole system in there.
We just need you to look after the babies and the vaginas.
That's what it is. Yeah, worry about what you got, and we don't have time for kids either. Take care of that, would you? Yeah, no, that's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the traditional way it went. I think that's the way women were steered. Yeah. Kind of like, oh yeah, you want to know about this shit? Pediatrics there. They weren't steered to go into urological surgery. Right. That wasn't what they were. Only 6 were, obviously. She said that but she also says in this article, this is in 1984, that she has never felt uncomfortable or bothered by sexual discrimination. I don't know if at that high of a level, it's just you're all so fucking smart that it doesn't matter. Right. I don't know if it's that you're just like, you only care about the person's academics or brain. I wouldn't think so. I would think in such a male-dominated
field like that.
I don't know. Or I don't know if maybe I don't know if that got her special attention because she was different.
Dr. Ruth's been doing this for so long. I want some advice, like words from her.
We don't even know if she's a fucking doctor.
We don't even know that.
I don't know if she's a doctor. Dr. Joyce Brothers isn't a fucking doctor, so how do I know Dr. Ruth is a doctor? She seems to know a lot of stuff about dicks and shit, but I mean, I don't know. She's an old lady. Maybe she's just seen a lot of dicks.
Maybe.
She could just be, but
if she's
I fuck a lot of people. I have much sex through years. I tell you all about the penis.
I've been on the planet for 7,000 years.
How many penis I've seen?
So many decade war zones.
I see men penis, their son, great, 5 generation penis, 1 family.
They all taste same.
Yeah. Fuck. They produce an unholy amount of spunk. So she said, quote, "I had the opportunity to be in excellent institutions, and so my ability was never questioned. I didn't really think about it. You simply think of yourself as a urologist or a surgeon." Dr. George Prout, who was chief of her department at this point, said, quote, "She was smart and she was a very meticulous surgeon. There's no question that Kathy did have sometimes what we would call a short fuse." Kathy's very smart. She's also very meticulous, and things need to be the way they are, and she gets angry and flies off the handle if it's not the way she is. She's because let's not forget too, she has some mental illness issues, and back then the medication, it was either, back then they'd give you lithium or nothing. So they either make it so there you go lay down for a while, or you had to just deal with it. So
also, if you're as successful as she's been through her life, and she has mental illness, it's kind of been not diagnosed.
Yeah,
somebody that that's that successful, you look at them and go, they're fine.
They're fine. Yep,
There's no problem.
And she thinks of that too.
Right.
I must be fine.
Right.
Everything's going great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But somebody that's that achieving and has done that many things, anything that's little that she sees as something that's out of place or not done right, she's got to go, I can fucking do it. Why can't you fucking do it?
Exactly.
You're an idiot, and she freaks out.
And I think also it becomes a matter of when someone's really good at something like that, like a urological surgeon and shit, they almost become like they get the same syndrome as like a celebrity where no one tells them their behavior's crazy because what they're doing is good and important and whatever they think it is. So they just let it go, and then it snowballs, and people just act even more and more however they are because no one's telling them that's wrong.
And then you have Charlie Sheen.
And exactly. You have people like that out of fucking control. So it happens all the time. How many goddamn comedians have you done before like that?
Boy, oh boy.
I want a chicken, not from here. Okay. Where then?
Fly it in.
It needs to be organic. It's 10:30 on a Saturday night. Where the fuck am I going to get an organic? My girlfriend needs an organic chicken in the Comedy Club green room right now, or I can't perform.
And there's a little thermometer that gets really hot, and you put it in cold water, and it makes the water hot. I want that. We can get you like a pot that's hot.
Not good enough.
God damn it! I want the thermometer heater fucking thing.
What do I look like?
I want the chicken and the chicken.
What do I look like?
Both. I got a lot of things you look like, motherfucker.
Dude, I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm telling you. We've seen that happen. And so if someone's actually intelligent, that's just someone who came up with a few dick jokes one time that caught on. This is fucking, someone's actually working hard and brilliant.
Right.
She meets another man in 1983. Okay. She's at a dance club at the Jersey Shore, which sounds well beneath her.
It does.
Just Guidos and dipshits and
beneath her.
Teased hair everywhere. And she's one of 6 woman urologists in the entire United States dancing with these idiots. But she meets a man there. Okay. Not a Guido, actually. Right. She meets a guy who's an industrial engineer.
What?
A smart and successful man.
She was as amazed as we are.
I'm shocked that these two people were both in a Jersey Shore dance club in 1983 is shocking to me.
It's crazy.
Everyone else, imagine just the IQ that they brought it up just on the, on the average.
There had to have been a moment where like one of them was just exhaustedly said, I can't fucking believe I'm here.
Yeah.
And then the other one next to him, whether it was him or her, went, fucking me too.
Unbelievable. She walked up and went, all right. All right. And I got the fuck out of there. Done. So, he worked at Motion Systems, a small industrial components maker in Eatonton, New Jersey, which we know about.
We've done that one.
We've done that one. So he's very successful. He likes that she's successful. And, he digs that. Because honestly, especially in the 80s, it would take a certain man to be okay with this. Yeah. In the 80s, men were different, and they weren't looking for women who were ultra successful in their own careers where they work 18 hours a day and have New York Times articles written about them. And he was like, fucking cool. Yeah, you're smart. I like that.
Fuck yeah.
So that's cool. So he was into her, and they get married in 1984. Now they end up not having any children. She wants children, but he doesn't want children. He already has sons from a previous marriage.
Okay.
And he doesn't want to start another family over. So they end up not really having children here. Well, not really. They don't. You either have them or you don't. You can't not really have children. They sort of had some kids. I don't know. I mean, there's some kids around. They might have been theirs. I don't know. Whose fucking kids they were. Who am I to say whose kids anybody is,
I shouldn't assume.
I can't just judge kids running around. Could be anybody's. So, but she was excited. This was a new chapter in her life, and she wanted to be married. She didn't want to be alone. Yeah. And her friend, Korash, that we talked about before, her best friend for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Last name of Korash here. Yeah. She says, quote, I was excited for Kathy. I felt he was a good partner for her. Both extremely bright, intelligent, driven, focused people.
Yeah.
Wow. Look
That's
at
what
this.
you would expect.
Yeah. And this is a good time for her to get married, too. Once her career is established, she's a little older. She knows who she is. She knows what she does.
Yeah.
This is a marriage that can work, unlike in college when,
With Peter?
We don't have jobs yet.
Right.
You get married now? What are you, crazy? We don't even know what you're doing. We don't even know what our schedules are going to be like, where we're going to live. Who knows? So they say that her work schedule, this is in a New York Times article, sometimes causes her to work 7 days a week and 14-hour days are her usual. So
7 days a week at that rate. That's fucking nuts.
That's how, well, think about how many different fucking jobs she has.
Yeah.
She's working at 5 different hospitals.
It's probably a drive between them.
Yeah. She's going back and forth. She's got surgery here, surgery there, paperwork, this, that, go over here, meet with consult with somebody here.
Pop into billing, make sure my mortgage is paid.
That's right. She might, also too, she might be teaching some things here and there. And there's
Running
a lot going
speeches.
on. Running some speeches. She's got a lot going on, basically. When she does have free time, she spends it, she says in this article, sailing and relaxing with her husband. Okay. So that's her life. It's not bad. Not bad. She's doing pretty well for herself.
Son of a bitch.
Doing pretty well for herself,
I wish it was me.
Not too fucking shabby here. She is honored also in the 80s here. 6 distinguished graduates of Rutgers University's Douglas College will be honored with the induction into the Douglas Society. Yeah. There.
Anything yet, Dad?
Anything? Where's your dick? I hate that thing you have between your legs. Get those tits off your chest ASAP, fucker.
I hate that thing.
That you don't have. The people also, people inducted here was an author and a nursing specialist from class of 1941. So she's like the youngest. The other one was class of 41, 52, 64, and then her. So she's the youngest one put in this also. So, I mean, Jesus Christ, she's got quite the fucking life right now. Yeah. It's crazy and impressive.
Fuck yeah.
Ultra impressive. She keeps working hard through the mid-80s, and that's taxing. Yeah. 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, a lot of stress, and she's got a lot to live up to, and she's always got to be perfect and always got to be on, and that's going to take its toll on you after a while. Yeah. And so she started to grow a little bit disenchanted with the structure of the way the medical system works. Mm-hmm. This is when insurance companies were really
starting to nitpick
and really conglomerates were starting to happen, and penny pinching things started to happen.
Oh, she has seen big pharma create
problems. This is like she's watching HMOs take over everything, and she does not like it at all. Okay. This in this sort of industry, urological surgery, people need to be willing to do tests and willing to perform surgeries, and if insurance companies are saying no to those things, that's going to affect your ability to care for people. So she said that she was basically at home. She was it was her only solace from this when she'd go sailing and shit like that. But her friend said, the Korash lady, she said, quote, she liked fixing people, making people better, and I think she found that paperwork was getting in the way. She wasn't smiling anymore. It was as if it started to become a chore, which sucks. I mean, she had because it was way different when she was getting into it, I'm sure. Yeah. So this is just how it's developing, I can imagine. And her husband, too, Tyrell here, he said that he watched everything become a struggle with her.
Did we know that was his name? Did I just learn that right now?
No, his name was Tyrell. His name was...
we didn't learn that.
We didn't? Did I skip over his name?
Yeah, he's just
Good
some
Lord.
sort of goddamn... structural engineer? Was that what it was?
He's an engineer. Yeah, William.
Oh, his last name is Tyrell.
Yeah, William Tyrell.
Okay.
Yeah, William here. That's what I thought.
Okay, I don't think that I learned that.
Okay, well, William Tyrell is his name, definitely.
Cowboy name.
So she said he said here that she complained about not being able to get things to go the way she wanted them to at work, basically. So much so that at one point in this mid-'80s period, she takes to bed for 2 months. She
just laid down and was like, I'm not getting up?
2 months. Just like, I've had it.
I need a 2-month break.
Literally, I mean,
I'll be in bed.
After all that achieving, for 20 years, she's done nothing but achieve.
2 months sleep, that ain't nothing.
Yeah, think about
what
that.
She deserves.
We go on tour for a couple months. We're like, oh, good God, I'm ready to fly. I want to fucking sleep for 2 months. This lady did 20 years of fighting the odds and busting glass ceilings and doing things that we couldn't do.
And what's the reward? Looking at a sick dick every day.
Sick dicks and
UTIs,
paperwork. And paperwork that she doesn't want to fucking do.
Paperwork that now the fucking... insurance company is pushing back, trying to say, I'm not paying you that. I'm a coctor. How dare you?
I am a head coctor. Head coctor. Many different hospitals. So 2 months, unable to work, can't do anything, but lay in bed and just lie down and be there. It's at this point, too, that she goes to the doctor and they rediscover her bipolar disorder. She had just ignored it.
Really?
So now they're like, hey, listen, you have a problem that you need, it's an issue. People have it and you need to fix it,
And this was in the 80s?
This is in the 80s, so it still wasn't great.
It had a fucking stigma then,
it
too.
had a stigma, absolutely.
You can't be a doctor if you've got head
still
problems.
has a stigma.
Yeah, sure.
And it shouldn't, but it still does. But back then it was woof.
Way
I mean,
worse.
it was people would be shunned for that sort of thing.
You're going to touch my dick and you got mental problems? The fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's what it is. Her husband said also she felt that lawyers were driving doctors out of medicine at the time. He said she felt a whole lot of people were involved in medical decisions who shouldn't be. Instead of providing care to people, she was dancing to the tunes of the tunes that insurers and whatnot played. So yeah, she just didn't like it anymore.
Buckle up, it's going to get worse.
That's it. So yeah, she ends up taken to bed for 2 months and being hospitalized for a few weeks after that. Yeah, she's just completely. She's had like a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
This sounds like the old school nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Like someone just couldn't take it anymore. Right. They said she suffered from bipolar. She was put on medication after that, and once she got out of the hospital, she was resumed work.
Really?
And had no effects, was fine, was back on track. The medication helped her out.
Yeah.
And, she continued to work and was fine. Her friend here, the Korash lady, said she had no idea what was going on with her at all. She just said, and her husband said, quote, my reaction was that if she was unhappy with it, then fine, we'll do something else. Like, if you want to be a doctor, great. We'll do whatever you want. Go sell fucking
you
trinkets.
Probably made a shit pile of money in 20
go sell
years.
Oranges on the freeway. I don't care. Just be happy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You've done enough. You've achieved plenty.
Yeah.
You've probably done pretty well.
We've probably got some money in the bank. Buy a fucking Wendy's.
There you
Buy
go.
a Subway.
There you go. Get a Dunkin' Donuts and knock yourself out.
Yeah.
So 1987, she decides she's done with medicine.
Yeah.
Done.
It's over.
Done. She decides it's over in 1987. So much so, I mean, this is extremely over. There's over, and then there's this. She decides instead that her and her husband, William, are going to move to the Virgin Islands to operate a bed and breakfast.
Yep.
To operate an inn.
It's over.
That's two people going, cashing out.
Yeah.
Don't care. Don't care anymore. Don't care anymore. Not doing this shit.
Yeah.
Not dealing with any of you fucking people.
Right.
Not dealing with traffic.
Right.
Not going into New York City and fighting and elbowing. Not doing it. I'm done. I'm fucking done. Virgin Islands, relaxing. Sit there and recover from your problems.
Would you like paper or plastic, sir?
They're
telling everybody.
They're telling everybody,
ranting and raving, going to the Virgin Islands.
Someone just said, all right. And they were like, let me tell you about the Virgin Islands.
And 1312 is your change, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Said his wife she talked about making a change, and they'd taken vacations to St. Thomas, and they had built a vacation house down there. St. Thomas is so expensive.
Yeah.
It's the most expensive place going.
Yeah.
They built a vacation.
Those islands, just that area, is fucking crazy.
But St. Thomas is like especially crazy.
You can't get there.
It's fucking nuts.
Jay-Z.
Yeah, I was reading. Anthony Bourdain was writing about how stupid it is, basically, back in the day before he died, obviously.
You hated it.
Yeah, he had some other island that he liked that was like, kind of a dirty, shitty island. And he met some lady who fucking drug him to St. Thomas, and it was a mess, and it's expensive, and it's all rich douchebags. And
hell yeah.
He called it Euro douches and Euro douches of all stripes. It's like, okay, very good. His books are fucking hilarious.
The Euro douche is a special
Euro douche, yeah. It's a great story about some crazy woman he met that was like some crazy Russian woman who...
Yeah.
It's funny.
They fucked like crazy and
did coke and fucked and like wanted to kill her and dump her off a cliff somewhere in the island.
It was like just an overnight with her.
She ended up being like having like Russian organized crime connections and shit. It's a crazy story. It's fun.
He spent like 6 hours with her, and this is all that happened.
Yeah, I think it's Medium Raw in one of his last books.
Awesome.
There. It's a funny book. So anyway, they took all these vacations down there, decided that they're going to do it, and they pondered buying a business and running a business down there. So they find in 1987 the Villa Olga, which is a small hotel and restaurant in St. Thomas. It had once been the Russian consulate, but now it's a small hotel and restaurant.
She sounds hideous.
Olga.
Yeah.
Villa Olga.
Yeah.
Now William, her husband, said they got a long-term lease on the property for about $600,000. In 80s money, that's a lot of money. from Richard Dumeng, who was the general manager down there, and they said that the general manager who signed the lease with them said that the inn seemed like it was more of William's dream than her dream at the time, but they shared all the responsibility equally. She converted to part-time status at the medical school, and then finally they moved down to St. Thomas completely. They renamed the hotel the West Indies Inn.
Beautiful.
And they spent several $100,000 to enlarge it to 19 rooms from 8 rooms.
Wow.
So that's a lot. They
More
really
than doubled it.
More than doubled the size of the place. Spent a shitload. So they're over $1 million deep into this thing down there, which seems really good. And things were going great. 87, 88. They said this was like the high time, like, because the economy was still good and things were crushing. And then 1989 came along, and Hurricane Hugo fucked that island up.
Took it all.
Bad.
Yeah.
Really did. Really screwed up the inn. Damaged it really bad. They repaired it and reopened it and things like that. But then after that, there was the Gulf War, and the economy crashed in the early 90s, if you remember, 90, 91, 92, and things just went in the toilet for all the kind of all the luxury things kind of went away like that. And things were not going well. Once the hurricane came, her friend said, the Korash lady said about her, quote, "She was frustrated. She was depressed. She was talking a mile a minute on the phone, screaming and yelling. She was out of control."
Wow.
Which sounds manic. She was in a, mile a minute, can't even understand her. So, I mean, this is bad too. This wasn't only them going under. Major corporations were going under. This was like the final straw for like Pan Am Airlines and Eastern Airline. All these airlines went out of business in 90, 91,
So
89 through 92. They all crashed and died.
America West went away.
Yeah, well, crashed and died is a bad way to put it. America West didn't go away till later. They were bought out.
They were bought out, but they were bought out in like 94, 95?
No, because they named the arena that was built here America West
but
Arena
that went
in 92.
Away quick.
No, that was America West till
Was
like 2000 or something. Then it was U.S. Airways after that or something.
And then
they
US
sold
Airways got bought too.
Because it got sold. And,
so many times.
But these just went out of business, these airlines.
Just
they
over.
weren't. Yeah, they were done.
Okay.
So, that's what ended up
They were
happening here.
absorbed by other companies, though, weren't they?
Some of
because
them
they had to get some
of
money
them
out?
they would sell their assets, their fleets and shit, then the routes were worth something and whatever. Yeah. But the problem is that once that happened, there was people who couldn't get flights down to the island because Eastern Airlines was the one that would go down there all the time. So once they didn't get figured out yet, but every people that can't find a flight down there and decide not to book it,
just don't go.
They just don't go, and that's money out of their pockets here. So it's a rough time here. So from 87 to 92, they live in St. Thomas. They operate the inn and everything like that. But also she's going back visiting her parents frequently because her parents are getting older at this point. So she's going back and visiting them back in New Jersey and all that sort of thing. Finally, they ended up having to leave the business and give up in 92. Their landlord there said, quote, "They had put so much of their blood, sweat, and tears into the place, and it got so severely damaged. They just didn't have the energy to do it again. Their time here took a toll on them as a couple." As it would. That's just brutal.
Fuck yeah.
That's just a lot going on.
Business together, and you're together all the time.
Yeah.
And
it's not going well.
Right.
It's
and
tough.
There's like actual projects to be done.
Watch like Kitchen Nightmares and watch a restaurant that's not going well. It's run by a couple. Like they want to kill each other because the chicken parm doesn't come out right. It's nothing to do with them. It's just when things don't go well.
Or a couple that flips houses, or a couple that buys those fucking storage units.
Any of that
They're
shit.
always pissed at each other.
Those weird businesses like that.
Creates too much tension.
Absolutely. So William, the husband here, 92, he returns to Motion Systems as an engineer, so he gets a good job back again, which is good. She stays in St. Thomas to try to sell the lease to somebody, trying to salvage something out of this.
Damn it.
She remains down there for about a year, unsuccessfully, never gets to sell the lease, and finally, the landlord takes it back. In the end, they said her husband, William, said they lost about $250,000 out of the whole thing.
It's not bad.
Which isn't terrible because they have insurance and things, but still, $250,000.
I mean, you
for 5 years living on an island.
Right.
You know what I mean?
5 years you lived in fucking
Not
St.
New
Thomas,
Jersey.
and you didn't have, you essentially paid rent for 5 years.
Yeah,
fairly expensive.
You spent $50,000 a year in rent, which, I mean, you lived in St. Thomas. What do you want?
Yeah.
Now, when she got back, her father, James, told her that he was very disappointed in her.
Oh, no.
A, for leaving her successful career that made him semi-proud, even though she has no penis.
Yeah.
But now and then he went down there. Not only did you give that up, you went down to the island and you're a fucking failure down there.
Right.
You're a loser. He told her, quote, "You should have stuck to what you know."
Yeah.
Is what he told her.
$250,000 would have bought a cock.
She thought that she thought the same thing. So I don't think that was helping here. So yeah, they end up buying a house in New Jersey, and she started doing unpaid research at Robert Wood Johnson, where she used to be in charge of things, using rats to develop treatment for bladder cancer. Okay. She was like doing unpaid research there. She lives down the street though from the Korash lady, her high school friend, which is kind of cool. William goes back to his old job, but her friend said her life seemed pretty kind of aimless. She was doing this unpaid research, but she wasn't really into it, that sort of thing. They would hang out all the time, her and her friend, and that was good. But Korash said, quote, "She was spending more and more time alone." She started doing some weird shit at this point. Yeah. She started doing things like obsessively clipping coupons. Not coupons that they were even going to use. She just was obsessed with them. That was something she could control. I can control
perforated lines.
I can control. I can cut them straight.
Yeah.
I get it, man. Dude, as someone who is very, very on the fucking fence with OCD shit.
Sure.
I totally have to force myself to not do shit like this.
Coupons?
Not coupons, but I'm weird, dude. I got weird. There's a reason why the show is meticulously put together, because I'm fucking insane. That's why. I'm not.
Believe me, I travel with you. I see, you've got to have your fucking paper boarding pass. I
have weird.
You have things, and I'm just like, the fuck are you doing? You got it on your phone, so you don't have to have that.
But then it's in my pocket, and I got to get it, and it's connected to my headphones, and I got to hand it to them, and then I don't like it. So that's what I mean. There's things that I have. They
make this life easy, and you make it hard.
I think things out I really think down the line a long way. Well, if I do this, and there's this, and this.
Yeah.
So I get where she's going.
You play life as like a chess move. You got to think 7 moves ahead to try to make this move valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. 7 moves from now, I don't want to be like, why did I do that in 1? I could have been farther along. I could have been on step 8.
A cheeseburger? Sure, I'll have that at 11:30 at night.
I ate pizza rolls at 4 in the morning. Don't get me wrong. But that's just because for some reason my gastrointestinal system hasn't caught up to my age
mine
yet.
Caught up to me when I was 21, huh?
Real. 2 days ago, Monday night after we recorded Crime and Sports, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I had 27 pizza rolls. Pepperoni pizza rolls at 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's fascinating, because at that same time, I had woken up from a deep sleep to take a shit because I ate a fucking salad when I got home that night.
It felt great. I passed out. It felt wonderful.
I'm like, Italian dressing. I can't eat that.
That's Jesus, I can't do that.
That's fascinating.
Fucking 27 pizza rolls, smoke a bowl, and you're sleeping, boy. Let me tell you, that's a good night's rest.
And I'm sitting on a toilet shaking my head going, you can't do this.
You can't have a salad past 7:30, asshole. What's wrong with you? How dare you?
It's far too much oil on
Jesus Christ. So she is obsessively clipping coupons and hoarding flower pots.
Oh, what? Why is that a thing?
Don't know. That's what I mean. This is in her mind. Things she's controlling these things. I have these flower pots and I can control them.
She's one of the first hoarders.
Yeah, she's hoarding those. She's clipping coupons. She's just got these weird quirks those are 2 things. If that's all she's doing,
it's okay.
They're quirks. Yeah. They're quirks. She's, I don't know. She likes flower pots. Whatever. You know what I mean? You can ignore that shit. If your wife is normal in every other aspect and she's got a bunch of flower pots, you're like, yeah, whatever. She collects flower pots or something. I don't fucking know.
Depends on how busy it is. If it's like you get in your car and you pull out and you hear some rattling, you're like, what the fuck? You get in the trunk and it's just full of new pots. You're like, what the fuck?
You're covering your yard. I can't get out. Can you move your pots so I get out of the driveway? Can't get out of the driveway. You go to pull in the garage at the end of the day. It's just a wall of flower pots. Uh-oh.
And they're all the same. You could have just bought one, There's
a lot here. And the coupons. We don't even use coupons.
Why are all of these flower pots full of coupons?
Yeah, that's Jesus Christ, man. But she's down. She's just down. Mm-hmm. Her husband said, quote, she quit medicine and we had quit the hotel business. She had to be an achiever to do what she had done. When an achiever isn't achieving, they aren't as happy. Yeah. That's absolutely. Sure. This is like these guys who, are are a major star baseball player for 15 years and they don't know what the fuck to do afterwards.
Yeah.
They have no idea. What do you do now?
It's terrifying.
Once you get to the mountaintop and you're 34, what do you do then?
And there's nothing up there.
Well, yeah, then what? I mean, it's one thing to, if you're already tired, but if you still have energy and you have nowhere else to go. So, she was just having a lot of problems here, and their marriage was affected by this. He said, William said, quote, she made sure she was the center of attention in some cases, and that didn't sit well with some people. He says that if a waiter was unresponsive, she would make it clear what she thought of his inattentiveness. Like she would be loudly complaining about the waiter and things like that. Or it's like, oh boy, here we go. One time at the conclusion of a sailboat race that they participated in St. Thomas, apparently she got into an argument with another competitor. It's a sailboat race in St. Thomas. Yeah. You're supposed to be a carefree dickwit fucking rich asshole. Just sail and drink your champagne and shut the fuck up. What are you doing?
Get your balls off that those people take this shit more serious than you do.
Yeah, isn't this funny? Apparently though, that he said after they got into the car, he said that she was so irritated that she bit his hand. He was like, hey, calm down, and put his hand on her arm, and she fucking bit him.
Wow.
That's how upset she was.
Don't tell me to calm down.
He was just like, it's okay, honey. And she was like, and just bit him like a fucking, he was like, whoa,
Boat's too heavy, you fucking jerk.
Wow, calm down. Yeah. And then another time, that's showing it's some odd behavior. And then the hoarding pots and the coupon clipping comes in the 90s when they moved back to New Jersey. Then 1995, William goes on his motorcycle to visit a friend. By the way, there's pretty good chance that he's having affairs at this point as well by the mid 90s here. He goes and takes his motorcycle to visit a friend. A few blocks from their home, he stops at a stop sign and then he drives on. By the way, he has limited vision in his left eye due to a childhood bicycle accident, which means you probably shouldn't be riding a motorcycle if you can't even fucking see. Let's see. How unsafe is this anyway? Let's see. How can I make it more unsafe? How completely ridiculous of a conveyance am I riding right now? I've just sat atop a motor, and I'm going to just drive this down the street with 4,000-pound cars. That's reasonable.
And an eye patch.
On top of that, I can't see them coming. Yes, this is dangerous enough for me. Perfect.
Good Lord.
Was he like jumping things on the way as well?
This guy's a badass.
I guess so. Well, for a minute anyway, he didn't see a car coming on his left where his vision's fucked up, and he was hit by a car hard, and a number of his ribs were broken, and his left leg was what's called mangled. Yeah. That's what they called it, mangled.
You get that pinned against a bike by a 4,000-pound car.
Yeah.
Mangled is the outcome.
Mangled. William says, quote, Kathy was at home. She had been out grocery shopping when this occurred and was very concerned about getting home and putting the frozen groceries away. I was appalled.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I see your leg is mangled, but I bought some frozen peas, and they get weird.
I've got pizza rolls.
If you defrost them and then refreeze them, they're not right. Yeah, I got pizza rolls. So it'll all leak. The sauce is going to leak out.
Gross.
And then it's going to be dry pepperoni in there. We're not going to, it's not good. So his leg was mangled, and the doctor said they made a decision to have it amputated. He's going to lose his fucking leg.
He's going to be eyeless and legless?
Yeah. William says, quote, she was very upset about it, screaming and yelling and carrying on. She felt it was a thing being done without her good advice. She thought, this is something I actually know about, medicine. No one asked me.
Right.
She showed up, and he just said, yeah, they're going to amputate my leg. And she was like, nobody fucking consulted me about this shit. Maybe you should have talked to me. I'm your wife and, a doctor of some renown.
I could probably save it.
It might be, or at least I would know if it's the right thing to do.
Got an idea.
So her friend here, Korash, said this is the point where Kathy really spiraled out of control. She said, quote, Kathy had become severely depressed to the point of psychosis. She had been hearing voices. She lost it. She went mad.
Oh my God.
She went off the deep end here. The doctor said they could try to save his leg, but it could mean years of operations that might not even work, and it might end up making you sick all the time. Yeah. Or they could just amputate it, and that'll be that. You won't have a leg, but you'll be healthy otherwise. And she was adamant that he keep the leg. Kathy was. She said at one point, William said at one point, she said to me, "I'm not going to let anyone cut your leg off." I said, "No one's going to tell me what I can or can't do," is what he said back to her. Like, if I want to cut my leg off, I'll have it fucking cut off. It's not up to you. So this was going on. Like, days went by of where they were deciding whether they were going to amputate his leg. Yeah. And at this point, he wasn't eating because he was sick from this. He was losing a pound a day, withering away in this hospital bed, and he decided to have the leg amputated. Yeah. That's it. She said that was it. He said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm getting it taken care of. And this was enough. That was
final straw.
When he left the hospital, he checked into a motel, and he said their marriage was over from this whole thing.
He checked out to a hotel.
Went to a hotel. Yeah. It takes him a while to release, to reach a divorce agreement. And we'll talk about all that. During this time period where they're apart, but not divorced, she wants to reconcile the whole time. She does some weird shit here. She knows that her husband likes to visit a, quote, go-go bar. I don't know if that means a strip club.
Generally, it's. I mean, today you could call that a.
Is that like a strip club with clothes on?
Yes, it's not
bikini dancing bullshit.
High boots.
Okay. What is it? The
short
60s
skirt with like a
like the 60s.
Yes, it's not
literally like those 60s go-go shows. Yeah. That's what's going on in the 80s.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here.
Still happens today.
What men want? Who wants to watch that?
Fucking Mormons.
I guess. I don't know. Like, if you're going to go out and watch a show, watch a good show, or see tits, but don't do. The two don't mix usually.
I don't know. It's also popular in the gay community too, where people
I didn't even think about that. Women bachelorette parties,
right?
Bachelorette parties.
If and they gay guys going being like, I don't see your fucking pussy.
If they have drag go-go shows, I bet that's what people do.
There's also like a talent for it.
If you watch 90 Day Fiance, every bachelorette party's at a drag
Yeah, that's the
every single fucking one. They all go to a drag bar. That's what they do out there.
God damn it, RuPaul.
Yeah, well, hey, whatever. That's what they're into.
Making so much money.
That's what the ladies are. That's what I mean. God damn it, good job, good idea.
Good for you.
Fuck yeah, good job, or good empire you built here. Not that he's making money off drag shows, but.
And not even just Empire. It's actually
in like season 8 or something. Like the show's been on forever.
It's crushing. But it's creating a whole, not just an empire for him, but for a bunch of other people.
Oh, yeah.
It's giving them so much. It's beautiful.
Fuck yeah, go. Good for you guys. Fucking knock yourselves out, everybody.
But good for you.
It does nothing for me.
I might go see it. I'm interested.
I wouldn't watch
see what the fuck happens.
Anybody do a show where they sing and dance and do bullshit. Like, I don't care if you have a dick, not a dick, tits, not a tit. It doesn't matter. It's just boring.
I've done a comedy show in a gay bar after one of those fucking things.
Oh, yeah.
And it is crazy, the shit that happens.
They're having a ball. Yeah. Fuck yeah, it's great. Yeah, we're all for it. We are all for it. Yeah. So she hears that he likes to go to a go-go bar near his office with coworkers, and it pissed her off. A friend of her divorce lawyer said, quote, she felt it was demeaning, and she was still hoping for a reconciliation. So, in September 1996, on a Friday, keep that in mind, September, she called the place and told them that she was going to do a birthday dance on the bar for her husband. His birthday's in May, okay? It's not even his birthday.
It's late.
So she, a little late, sweetheart. Yeah. So she gets all dolled up, puts all her makeup on, and does all this type of shit, and goes to this bar. And she gets shit-faced drunk and climbs up on the bar and starts doing a striptease.
Yeah.
This is strange behavior from this woman. The bartender interrupts this and calls police.
Yeah.
She wouldn't get off the fucking bar.
A drunk bitch on my bar.
Won't get off. Right. So calls the police. So the police come and they remove her from the premises. By the way, he wasn't even there, her husband. William was not there. His birthday's not in September, and he wasn't even at the fucking bar.
She's on the stage screaming, Billy!
Yeah, literally, he's not there. She's just in her own world. She's in her own fucking world.
Wow.
They had separated months before. They weren't together. They weren't talking. Mm-hmm. Like, he wanted nothing to do with her, and he wasn't even there. Yeah. And she's up on the bar dancing and fighting. Now, the problem is, she is fighting once the cops come, and she ends up being charged with this whole thing.
Yeah,
disorderly, and her charges are dismissed. But then she files a civil liberties lawsuit. She files a lawsuit against the police department in Eatonton, New Jersey, for violating her civil liberties in the way they threw her out. Apparently, it's a federal civil rights lawsuit she filed in 1998 against them. Apparently it's her God-given right to dance on the bar and take her clothes off. I'm not sure.
Screaming for the one-legged man in the club where everybody has two.
I feel like that's it. They're like, I got 3 for you, sweetheart, not 1. Some dickhead saying that shit. So, yeah, it's a problem here. She didn't know what to do. And her husband said, this is very interesting, kind of on that achiever thing that he said before. He said, quote, what do astronauts do after they go to the moon? A number of them have had problems. It's hard for her to live in the aftermath when she's achieved so early. Yeah, you go to the moon, then what?
Then you come back and you're like,
you drink, I guess. I don't know.
Or you go, this place is much better.
Yeah, this is I really appreciate this.
This is the ticket.
Yeah, this is much better.
Breathing without a mask.
No shit. So 1997, the divorce finally comes through. It includes an agreement here where William will pay her alimony of $65,000 a year for 3 years. Ooh. So that's it, though. That's what she gets. $65,000 a year for 3 years. Okay. So $195K and she's out. Yeah. This is in June of 97. So June of 2000 is when those payments stop. Yeah. So just to keep that in mind here. He's making over $200,000 a year at this point, and she's not making anything. Now, under the terms here, like I said, he's paying her $65,000 a year, and she's also to be covered under his health insurance plan for 3 years. Yeah. That whole deal here. According to the court papers, they had net assets, mind you, of $1.6 million. Most of them acquired during their marriage. The marital assets, she was left with $780,000, and he got about $405,000 of the marital split. He took a house that they lived in when they moved back to New Jersey, and she took the St. Thomas vacation house down there. And then they also, so at the end of this, she had about over $1 million in cash and assets.
Doing great.
At the end of the divorce. So not too bad. Yeah, not too shabby. She stays in New Jersey, though. She helps her parents. This is when she starts spending more and more time with her parents. So her mom's in her 90s now, and her dad's in her late 80s. Tropical storm Floyd hits in 1999, and the neighbors said they saw her helping pump water out of the driveway next to her parents' home, and she was working around the house to help fix up their house, basically. Now, the parents here, James and Adela, are they're not like known as real outgoing people in the neighborhood. Adela is, the neighbors say she's often ill. You don't see her very often because she's often sick. She's in her 90s. Yeah. My grandmother's 93 and she doesn't come out very often. Yeah. She just pretty much stays on the couch.
Dad in his 80s, oftentimes throwing rocks at the girls in the neighborhood.
Obviously, yeah, going, "Where's your penis, you losers?" You got an innie instead of an outie, and I don't like it. One neighbor said, quote, they kept to themselves. He would take care of the property and do the gardening. They said that he said that this guy grew up in the neighborhood. They've lived there since he can remember, since he was a small child. And he said that he only visited them when he trick-or-treated on Halloween. He said, quote, I think they stayed in because she wasn't in very good health. Which makes sense. Apparently, Idella had trouble breathing when the air quality wasn't great and things like that. She had respiratory issues. And this is a very nice street, big giant houses, and their house is one of the smaller houses on. It's kind of the shittiest house in the neighborhood. It's a lot of other big houses, and then they've lived here forever. Yeah. So then they've never expanded their house or anything like that. One neighbor said, quote, he was a cheerful guy, of James, unless you were a woman. Quote, we really didn't know the woman that well. She stays mostly in the house.
The woman.
But James would always be out back taking walks around the block. He would make jokes and warn us about ticks. Gee, what a fun guy.
He meant dicks.
Yeah. He didn't speak very well. It's like, you got a dick, don't you? And they were like, yeah, he keeps warning us about ticks. What a sweet old man. Yeah, I tucked my pants into my socks. Don't worry. It's fine.
See, your kid over there looks like he's got a tick on him.
Oh, boy. So, June of 2000, the payments end. but she still should have some things. She's got her St. Thomas house. She's got 2 Killington, Vermont condominiums. She also has retirement accounts worth more than $550,000. No kids to piss it away on. So she's got money. She's got, a little nest egg here. Everybody said she seemed very frugal about everything, though, too. She's very frugal. And now the payment schedule and insurance thing was supposed to end in June, but her husband said that the payment schedule had been altered, and she was still receiving alimony and is still covered by insurance in June of 2000 and July of 2000. Still going on.
Doing her a favor.
Yeah, doing her a favor, stretching it out so it's easier here. She talked to her first husband, Cook, around
Peter.
this time, Peter, and she called him to discuss some possessions from their marriage. 20 years ago.
Right.
20 years ago. I don't know. Everything's gone. I don't know what to tell you. He said that she didn't sound bad to him, but he did say that she sounded stressed out, and she said she had a lot going on.
Right.
Parents are old and got houses and all that shit.
Right. Everything was not all right.
Yeah, he said it's not all right. He said, quote, she said she was going to have to start supporting her parents. She made some allusions to her parents' retirement money about it being finite, and that unless she sold the house, she was going to be in trouble. So she's worried about her parents. That's tough. When you live to 92 and 86, you're outliving your money. You don't expect for both people to live that long. Right. You know what I mean? When they do, you're draining that shit.
And if you've wrapped your assets up in flower pots and coupons,
that's what are you going to do?
You might be fucked over.
Could be completely fucked. So July of 2000, Kathleen moves back in with her parents.
Okay.
She moves in with her parents.
Where'd she put all the flower pots?
I think she left them behind.
Okay.
She's going to start a new collection. When Adele's 92nd birthday was there, Adela, her mom, she told Kathy that if Kathy made her a birthday cake, she would, quote, throw it on the floor. She said, don't make me a cake. If you do, I'll throw it on the floor. And Kathy told her friend that depressed her a lot. She said to her friend, quote, no matter what she did, it was never enough. Her parents just hated her. Yeah. That's all she knew of. So August of 2000...
If you make me a cake, I'll throw it on the floor. James, would you go out and get me one of those Carvels?
You get me a Fudgy the Whale, please?
Not you.
Not Dickless. You, Dickless. Jesus Christ. Grow a dick. I've been telling you for 55 fucking years to grow a dick. You're just useless.
I don't want your cake, Dickless.
Good God. Jesus. Her friend said that she had planned to build an apartment in the basement and just take care of her parents that way. That's how she was going to do it. She's going to make like a studio situation like we've done. Here, she's going to start a podcast. It'll be very interesting. It's a Urology Today podcast.
It's called Dickless Urology.
Dickless Urologist is what it's called.
Dickless the Dick Doc.
Yeah, Dickless the Dick Doc. Dick Doc Dickless. Dick Doc Dickless, I think, is what we're going with there. Yep, Jimmy took his headphones off. That means that's a winner. That's a winner, folks.
Podcast so bad.
Dick Doc Dickless, how you doing, everybody? Don't worry. Welcome to the podcast where I don't have a dick, but I know more about him than you do.
You got one, and I can tell you about it.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. A neighbor that knew her parents said, quote, I'm not sure they had much money. So the parents are running out of money. And her friend, or a neighbor of here, said, quote, she was in between careers and was torn between staying with her parents and going back down to the Virgin Islands. We had no idea what she was going through. It must have been something awful. I would say so. She asked Cook, her old husband, if he could come up from Florida. I'm sorry, William Tyrell. She asked if he could come up from Florida to help her pay bills and take care of the house. Okay. Can you come up and just help me for a week? And he said, no, we're divorced. Are you crazy?
I'm missing a leg and I'm in Florida. I'm doing great.
He said, quote, I thought she might be suicidal, but I never thought she would hurt anyone else. So by this time, by August of 2000, she had stopped bathing. She stops bathing and she wouldn't eat or sleep.
Okay.
She just wouldn't take care of herself and was also kind of slacking and taking care of her parents as well. It's just falling apart mentally, obviously. She said, quote, it would take me 4 hours to get my shoes on. It would take me 4 hours to go grocery shopping where I might have done it in 45 minutes. Depression can be immobilizing to the person who's experiencing it. When I say it took me 4 hours to get my shoes on, I don't know what happened in those 4 hours. That is
that's too much.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
That's terrifyingly depressed, man. That is so Horrible.
It's taken me 4 hours to put shoes on, or
That's
4 hours
so
to get out of
bad.
bed.
Yeah,
but I've
that's
just
real,
stared
man.
at my shoes, and I know exactly where all those minutes went.
She's just zoning.
To lose track of those 4
zoning,
hours
man.
is crazy.
She's so depressed she doesn't even have her thought process going. She's just zoning. Like,
so far gone.
That's so scary and sad. And
she needs a doctor a long time ago.
And anybody can get to that. That's what's so scary about that. She thought she'd find a way out of the situation and, everything else. A person who used to work with her, a doctor who used to work with her, said, quote, "It's amazing what Kathy went through. She was at the top of her field, and I'm sure it was very lonely," which is also true for her. She said that when Kathy was a doctor, she was always a little obsessive compulsive about details, and they always noticed that. They said, quote, "Details were sometimes her problem. I don't think for Kathy it was easy to get to the bottom of that list." So that makes sense. August 26, 2000. Remember we talked from the top of the show. Right. 6:48 a.m. She calls 911. And they said she sounds completely disconnected. Yeah. She doesn't sound, there's no emotion in her voice. Right. She's just like a robot person. Yeah. She says, quote, "My parents have been dead in their beds for days. I've gone out of my mind. I did this really bad thing." That's what they hear. They're like, "Well, we'll send a cop over. Yeah. Let's go talk about that." So when the cops get there, they said, "What's going on?" All right. Yeah. And she said, "Something is terribly wrong." And they said, "Is your parents dead?" And she said, "Yes." They go upstairs. Police end up finding numerous prescription bottles scattered throughout the home there. She would later tell police that she'd been writing out prescriptions for herself because her medical license is still good for another year.
Oh, wow.
She still has a medical license. So
she can just write it.
She's writing herself prescriptions. She wrote her prescriptions for herself for Remeron, which is an antidepressant, and Restoril, which is a sleeping medication. It's a very strong sleeping medication, if I'm not mistaken. So she's on hardcore antidepressants and a hardcore sleep medication that is just making her a zombie, basically. She had access to prescription pads, obviously. The affidavit that the detective filed later said that, quote, "She stated that she was with her parents when they died. She indicated that it was, quote, all my fault and that she, quote, did these bad things." So, not good.
Okay.
Not good.
How did they die?
We'll find out in a second. For 3 days before the discovery here, neighbors didn't see her at all. The house was closed up. One of the neighbors said, quote, "We'd usually see her. She'd always wave and smile. But then it seemed the door just stopped opening." That's
Wonka's factory.
Pretty much here. Now people freak out when they hear about this whole thing. Her friend here, the Korash lady, she said a lot of things went through my mind that day. Was this a mercy killing? Did her and her father get into some sort of argument? Did somebody come into the house? Was she being framed? I just wanted to find out what the truth was. And a lot of people are freaking out. There's no crime in this town, and this is a very prominent person that they're all proud of, and this happens. The Chatham Township police chief, who's worked like 14 hours in the last 12 years, he said, quote, "Whenever there's a serious crime, there's a sense of disbelief that it could happen here. I don't think anyone expected something this bizarre could happen." Wait till you hear what happened to it. It's fucking bizarre. People around the neighborhood here, someone said, quote, "I didn't think anyone would murder them because they're nice people." Well, that's good. Yeah, I didn't think anyone would murder elderly people in their home. Yeah.
So it usually is with elderly folks.
Yeah, you know how that goes.
It's very rare that they go, that 94-year-old fucking deserved
I expected him to be murdered.
Yeah.
I really thought that night.
I've been looking for it.
The guy was all right, but the old lady had it coming. Yeah. I'm not going to lie here. She said, the guy said, "I didn't think they're nice people." He said, I just talked to him 5 days ago, and he was really a nice guy because he has a dick. This guy saying it. This is a quote from Neff is the last name. It's a guy. Yeah. So Michael, I think, is his first name. So he said that this person said him and his wife were reclusive. The old couple here. Right. They often took walks with a healthcare provider and talked about his days as an optician and all that sort of thing. Quote, "The last conversation I had with him was for about a half hour because he loves to talk." Those fucking ticks are out there. The one person that just moved in a couple years ago said, the wife, I've never seen her. He mentioned his daughter in speaking, but only to say that she was okay. There's no indication there was problems in the house.
She's just okay.
She's just okay. Yeah, she's okay. No dick or nothing, but she's all right. Don't worry about that.
6 women on a board.
I don't know, whatever.
Shit, I don't know.
Some bullshit.
Harvard.
Another neighbor, a guy, said, quote, he was a cheerful guy. We really didn't know the woman that well. She stayed mostly in the house, but James would always be out taking walks around the block. So, yeah, they're just...
You had a daughter? Say what?
What? Yeah, what was that? Jesus Christ.
I had no idea.
This is, by the way, the third murder in Chatham Township in the last 15 years.
Third.
Third and
fourth, or second and third?
No. Third, the third murder situation.
Got it.
At all here. Okay. What was it here? One guy here, March 1999, a guy was shot to death by police after stabbing his estranged wife and 2 boys and killing their oldest son.
Oh, my.
And then another one was another person, Gail Dreher, was bludgeoned and strangled by her husband in 1986.
Sweet Christ.
So, yeah, there was that. That's the last we've had murders. So they don't happen very often, and they're domestic usually, husband and wife. So everybody that knew Hagen during her career thought this was insane. Like, this is fucking nuts. She was
certainly out of the ordinary.
Yeah. One said, quote, I know she's had a long problem with depression. I don't know whether she's been treated or diagnosed. So the funeral comes around. This is even weirder. Funeral comes around. They're laid to rest. With a speech written by Kathy. What? Kathy wrote the speech. She planned the funeral.
Yeah.
She planned the funeral and wrote their memorial speech.
So she was there?
No, she's in jail.
Oh, my God.
They held her on $250,000 bond.
Who delivered this shit?
She just set it all up. She wrote a testimonial on their life and times, which was read by the Reverend Margaret Koniger of St. Paul's Episcopalian Church. She was not allowed to attend the service, but she stayed in county jail. This is fucking crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the one of the people at the service said, if Dr. Hagen knew of the resources available to her and her parents with their problems, this might not have happened. Mm-hmm. Well, she did know, but she just wasn't in a state to access it because she was having problems, man.
Right.
So it happens. So then there's the will of the Hagens. They have no other kids. She's the person. Yeah. She's the executor, but she can't be because she's also the sole beneficiary. And she can't be the beneficiary because the charges negate her being the beneficiary.
Of course.
So she can't do that. So they get alternate executors of the will. One of the people who is named alternate executor is William Tyrell, her second husband. He can choose to whether he wants to actually do it or not. He says, quote, we're still trying to clear up some details about that. I suppose as a charitable act, I would do it, seeing as how it appears there is no one else. But it's certainly not a contentious issue. Like, he doesn't really care either way.
There's nobody else to take it all.
No, that's what I mean. And when she was first arrested, she called William. That's who she called first. It was William Tyrell, her ex-husband. Imagine that, getting that from your call from your ex-wife. Click. I don't think so.
All right.
All right. They don't even have kids, so it's like it's not even like, hey, I'm the mother of your children. This is you're just I'm some lady you used to have sex with. Like, this isn't.
We used to be business partners.
Yeah, that's it. So apparently, though, I guess they're still pretty close when it comes to shit like that. Police did end up locating a niece in Vermont and a nephew in Quebec, Canada, that might be able to be part of this as well, executors of this whole thing. Now, in court, she has to make an appearance in court to plead and everything. She is acute. She appears sleep deprived, distraught, unable. Her attorney says that she is unable to fully communicate with her attorney. She's basically the attorney's like, there's nothing I can do.
Right.
She won't even talk to me. She's not bathing.
She's grunting.
She's just ignoring everything. She said nothing in court and only nodded when the attorney patted her on the back before she returned to jail. Like, she just has she's just done, man.
Yeah.
Like, she's cashed out. Her attorney met with her for about 2 hours, and she said she frequently lapsed into silence, was confused, and didn't make any remarks that showed that she was even aware her parents were dead at that moment. Just out of it. Bail set at $2.5 million.
That's high.
Because she's got cash, so you have to set it high here. After the arraignment, they said that the lawyer was telling press and everybody that she suffered from bouts of depression for years and will likely plead insanity. He says that, quote, she's offered no explanation for what's happened. She's frail and worn out. I didn't see any emotion from her except confusion. He says that it was a culmination of things coming to a head, her divorce, her loss of business, and other things. That all makes sense here. Wow. Her friend Korash jumps in and tries to help her. She hires defense lawyers for her, mental health professionals, and gets that all lined up. She really did. She took a buyout from work. She took a buyout from her job to retire early so she could help her friend's defense, which is a great friend.
Koresh did that?
Yeah, the Koresh lady did that. She said she lost friends who didn't understand why she was doing it. She said she's become Kathy's guardian. She cleared out the home of her parents and arranged a funeral on the ground. This woman really came to her aid. Yeah, she really did. There's a great friend.
She cares, and she's watched and witnessed this spiral for her entire life, and she feels bad. And she has heart.
She's known her for 40 years, and to stick with someone like that is really, it's impressive. Good for her, man. I hope everybody has a friend like that. So, while in custody, now they talk to her, and psychologists talk to her, and psychiatrists talk to her, and now we get what the fuck happened. Yeah. She said that after she killed her parents, and we'll talk about how that happened, she spent some, quote, quality time with them.
Okay.
While they were dead.
Yeah.
She said she walked backwards because she thought this would return them to life if she walked backwards. She said, so I walked backwards for a day because I figured if I did that, I could reverse everything. And then that didn't work. So I was like, fuck, now what do I do? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She said at that point, she heard a commanding voice when she killed them. She said a commanding voice. Wow, the quote here is crazy, but I'll get to the full quote. But she says that she thought she could transport herself and her parents to another sphere.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Where they could live happily. Yeah, she said that she wanted to be with her parents. Her parents never loved her, and she thought if she could get them all to a different sphere, they would love her, she said. Yeah. By the way, a couple of years later, she will say she doesn't even remember any of this happening.
Unbelievable.
They asked her how this started, what the fuck happened, and she said that they started taking some pills I found, and I could not take it anymore. That's what she said. They said they found numerous prescription bottles scattered around the house. The parents were found in their individual twin beds. They're so old school. They slept in separate beds in their master bedroom. The mother was lying face up. She's clutching a small piece of cloth in her hand that was pressed close to the left side of her head. And James was on the other bed, and they were all very dead and stiff. And I mean, it was super over. They were there a while, at least 8 days, they said.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. She just hung out in her nightgown without bathing that whole time. Walking backwards, trying to fix it. The psychiatrist said, quote, she stated that while her father was in his bed resting, she placed a plastic bag and then a pillow over his face.
Oh, my God.
He struggled for a little while, then died. She then went over to her mother. As her mother was lying in her bed, Kathleen placed the same plastic bag and pillow over her mother's face and suffocated her. She said that her mother struggled for a short time before she stopped breathing. Also, it said, quote, Kathleen stated she does not recall the day she killed them, but knows they were alive on Tuesday, August 12th, as that was her mother's birthday. That's when she was told that she was going to have a cake on the floor. Kathleen knows that she remained in the house for a few days after they were dead. Yeah, this shit is, said she was making all sorts of bizarre statements and crazy shit she was saying that was just really fucking out there. In court, two psychiatrists and a psychologist who interviewed her said that she was in the grip of a major psychosis, hearing voices and reading special signals into playing cards. She would play solitaire.
Yeah.
And if
she's treating those like fucking tarot cards.
If a combination of numbers came out, she would take that as a message of a certain thing.
Fuck.
Taking signals from television ads that she thought were subliminally telling her things that were like talking to her specifically, and traffic lights.
Get out of my life.
She said traffic lights were talking to her and communicating with her and telling her things in the days leading up to the parents' death.
Jesus.
That's fucking she's in a pocket Robin type of moment here. This is like next level.
That's unbelievable.
She can't control it. She said she was deteriorating mentally after she felt like a failure, both professionally and personally, and was concerned about her parents. She called her parents mommy and daddy, still in her 50s. She said to a psychiatrist, quote, I didn't want to kill them. I just wanted to make them get to the sphere that was supposed to be better. They weren't dead to me. They had no pulse, but they were in some kind of suspended state like voodoo.
Wow.
And if I walked backwards, I could make them go to the sphere. This is what I mean. Like, this is some serious logic here. Wow. So the autopsies performed said these were injuries consistent with asphyxiation. That she got right. Trial comes up. She decides for a bench trial, no jury. Let's let the judge take care of this one here, because the jury, this can get...
Oh, this will get so ugly.
Yeah. It comes out in court here during the trial. She's pleading insanity on this whole thing, and they're trying to push her for murder.
Sure.
She said she told the psychiatrist shortly before the killings, her father called her a harlot. Okay, which makes no sense.
It's 1908 where you're a whore.
Yeah, you harlot. Yeah, you want a strumpet.
Right.
So calls her a harlot, and she, again, no penis.
Right.
How dare you?
Yeah.
She pushed him, and then he hit her with his cane. That's what happened in the days leading up.
Hell of a fight.
Yeah. She said, the psychiatrist said she always felt nothing she did was good enough for her father. Well, if you had become one of the only 6 female urologists in the country and he goes, meh, you really can't please the man at that point.
Him.
Yeah. So state hired psychiatrist by the prosecutor said, quote, her feelings of inadequacy were either a cause or a symptom of her depression. Fair.
Yeah.
She gets on and she does an interview on the news here from jail. And she said, quote, I love my parents. I just can't believe how a mind can be so messed up that it could happen. It wasn't rage. It wasn't anger. It wasn't anything like that. It's unbelievable. And then she recalls how she was taking messages from traffic signals and playing cards and TV commercials. She also took orders from commanding male voices that just happened in her head, and which told her then that smothering her parents would lead them to a better sphere where they could all be happy again, and nobody would yell at her lack of penis or call her a harlot anymore.
And they all eat birthday cake.
Everybody likes their cake. Everybody wants frosting extra. So apparently, all 3 psychiatrists were adamant that the suffocations were not vindictive or they weren't mercy killings, but they were an act of a woman who believed in a childlike way that she could send her parents to a happier dimension. She really thought that. It's while this is all going on, she's being held, and everything. She said it's just, she can't believe how it even happened. So after 1 day of testimony, all the psychiatrists testified basically the exact same thing, defense and prosecution. So when you have that, you got to kind of take what they say. It's like, why'd you have them go up there? If everybody agrees, that's clearly what it is. Right. So the judge hears, it says Judge B. Theodore Bozanelli's.
Hell yeah.
It's quite the fucking handle on that cat there. He only hears 1 day of testimony and decides that, decides to make a verdict here, and he decides not guilty by reason of insanity. He does decide insanity. The judge said that, quote, she did not ask for help because she was incapable of asking for help. That's true. I would say that. And by the way, there's a certain opinion on she kind of got an easy path here.
Of course, because she's a doctor.
That's the thing, because we have a lot of cases where we'll talk about in a second. Just at the end of this, we'll get to that. So she is, you ma'am, may fuck off. She's committed to a maximum security psychiatric hospital until she's evaluated and considered fit to move into less restrictive facilities until she can leave when she's healthy. There's no sense.
They'll figure out when she's healthy, or she'll wake up and
figure
go.
out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, when she's deemed by the staff to be not a danger, she's released. She can. So it could be 2 years. Yeah. She could do 2 years for 2 murders.
I bet you could do 18 months.
Who knows?
Yeah.
She's committed to Trenton Psychiatric Hospital. She calls her Hagen calls her friend Karash, quote, she's my worldly savior, my right hand.
Yeah.
Nice. I would say so. She says she wants to be freed to live a normal life and try again to,
give this life thing another go.
Yeah. Karash said, quote, more than anything, she gives me hope. Hope and love she's given me will go on and will give me the courage to go on and gain courage, she says. March 2008 comes around. This was in February 2002. She sent away. March 2008 comes around, and a Superior Court judge in March 2008 releases Hagen from the institution. Okay. So 6 years she did for that, with oversight from social workers and psychiatrists. She purchased an $850,000 home.
What?
Before leaving. An $850,000 home before leaving. She will receive transportation and social services needed from an agency in Monmouth County and would attend half-day sessions 3 times a week at Park Place, which is some place like that, for the first month of her release. The amount of time she has to spend there would be gradually reduced, and she would continue to be periodically reviewed by a Supreme Court judge over her lifetime.
5 years ago, she smothered 2 grown adults.
Wow. The judge said that she's highly educated and she wanted Trenton psychiatric staff members to work with Park Place to develop an individualized plan for her that would recognize her intellect and skills. Really? Wow. I don't even know what to say about that. She has been allowed by the judges when she's released to visit her home on day passes and occasionally spend the night there. Yeah. Not all the neighbors are thrilled about this of her new neighborhood. Specifically, Joseph and Kathleen Gaddy, who are a couple who owns the home next door. And they were at the hearing when this was all going on. They had written to the judge that they didn't, that they believe an independent guardian should be appointed for her, and they don't want this fucking lady next door who did this.
We have children.
They were critical of the hospital and how Hagen, in their view, showed poor judgment by buying a home in a depressed real estate market.
That's just poor judgment?
They went and said she's not sane because she showed poor judgment by buying a house in a down real estate market. Her financial decision was so poor, she must be crazy. Put her back in the hospital. That's literally, they fucking petitioned a court with that as their argument.
That is idiotic because that's goddamn genius. That's when you buy.
That's what I mean. Quote, she has been allowed to purchase a home in a declining real estate market, squandering the assets she should have been using for her treatment and supervision, is what they wrote to court. Like, you give a shit. You just don't want her next door to you.
Yeah.
What are you fucking talking about? Good Lord.
She's clearly a lunatic.
We're just worried about her money situation. We want it to last. Fucking crazy.
They don't want her to go broke.
She'll be on a cocktail of drugs, which she must comply with as part of her release, including lithium to treat her bipolar, Effexor for depression, and Inderol for hypertension and tremors, and other drugs to manage osteoporosis, chronic back pain, and anxiety.
That'll help with the dating life.
She's got a lot going on. And they said that she hadn't had any recent behavioral problems in the institution, and Hagen said she is aware that the surrounding neighbors around her house, she called the house her perfect home. She said that that she is monitored and that she's on medication and she's fine and everything like 60s. That. It's all good. July of 2010, she is she's free, I guess, at that point. She's taking her prescribed medicines, and based on favorable reports by her psychiatrist and a mental health clinician who sees her on a weekly basis, a judge here said reduces the clinician visits from once a week to twice a month.
Okay.
She needs, let's keep a close eye on her. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I don't, she shouldn't be in jail, I guess. I don't know, whatever, but if you're
going to reduce, let's take a week off, not goddamn cut it in half. Let's not go halvesies on the fucking psycho medications.
Let's not do that here. She'll have it reduced. The judge also told the prosecutor and defense lawyer that he would next review the status in July 2011, 6 months from then. He conducted periodic reviews before that. The judge said, quote, "There's nothing that would be of concern to me." with her. She said, quote, how do you feel this morning? To the judge asked her, and she said, quote, psychologically fine. Okay.
Psychologically, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm losing money. I bought a house in a down market.
Hey, I got to get in there. So I got to flip this bitch. Penis or not, I got to get in there. The judge noted that her psychiatrist, who's been seeing her every 6 weeks at this point, believes she is, quote, in very good remission of her mental illness. Everything is fine. He cited a report that found no evidence of thought disorder or psychotic thinking in her at all at this point. Very good remission. A social worker who visits her weekly says that she, quote, seems very stable and wanted to have the visits reduced. Now, in the neighborhood, obviously, people aren't thrilled about it. Neighbors will not talk to her. Basically, she is shunned from everybody.
Yeah.
One neighbor here, she's 62 years old, by the way, Hagen. She's not like she's like tearing things up. 62-year-old woman with osteoporosis, so she's not a threat. But one neighbor was heard by a reporter saying to his wife when she came outside, because the reporter was like watching her at home or whatever. She said, the guy said to his wife, quote, the murderess is outside. Tell the children to come in. That's what it is. That's what everyone does.
The murderess is out.
Yeah. If she comes inside, everybody scatters and goes inside. They the murderess is outside. Tell the children to come in. Like, let's make sure they don't get...
Tell them they're not safe.
Wow. So there's a bill put forth at this point. I don't know if it passes, that says that neighbors must be notified when a murderer walks, like a sex registration, but for murderers, basically.
Why the fuck wouldn't that be a thing already?
I don't know.
Why does that... If that doesn't
exist... Isn't that funny?
Why?
That I get that sexual assault in any way is horrible, but murder is really bad.
Yeah.
So I think anyone that kills people is just as bad as a rapist, probably. So you should probably let us know that they're coming as well.
You know, the thing about being murdered is there's no fixing it.
There's no fixing it. Yeah, I mean,
there's no amount of head doctoring that can get you to cope with it.
Yeah. So one of the lawmakers said he had the proposal. He said it wasn't meant to create a scare, but that the public has a right to know when a formerly violent patient, because it's for mental patients specifically, moves into the neighborhood. He said, quote, a number of families who live around the Hagen residence contacted me. That was the catalyst. People got nervous and upset because they found out through the grapevine that there was a furloughed murderer living on the block. The police chief didn't even know, and that led to a little bit of hysteria.
Oh, I'm sure he was mad.
Oh, yeah, he was. Well, he's like, oh, fucking one call in 3 weeks. Yeah. He's like, Jesus Christ, a kid stole a Twix bar 3 weeks ago, and now this? Jesus, balls.
We got a murderer living here.
Well, the people, you know what? They could have... They didn't have to deal with it for too long, because April 18th, 2015, Kathleen dies in her home.
Wow.
And, dies at age 69 in her, 64. It said 69 in the thing, but it's 60. Yeah. She was born in
55 or 40?
Oh, yeah, sorry. 69 is right. Yeah. My bad. 69. Okay. She died in her home, that day. No telling what, nobody knows, no information on what it was.
She didn't smother herself?
Nope, she was cremated, though. That we do know. Cremated, did not wrap a plastic bag around her head or anything like that.
Not even saran wrap?
Nothing. But and that is her story, and the story of Chatham Township, and that is a fucking wild story, is it not?
I hope whatever, she's dead. I hope that it was natural causes. I don't want that to be something where she took her own life.
No, that's God, no. Well, that's just terrible if they're
that's the worst.
Or if it came back on her like that. And here's where I went through the whole thing with this. I went through this whole thing, feeling bad, obviously, because I don't like anybody who's mentally ill and things like that. Then at the same time,
you don't like that anybody is
mentally ill. I don't like people who are mentally ill. I don't like it that people have to suffer mental illness. Yeah. Is that better?
You sounded like me.
Yeah. Fuck that all up. So I don't like that shit. But then I look at it this way. Like, I don't know. For every case we do, for 162 cases, I look over 20 cases for everyone we do. Sure. It takes 20 to find one. Yeah. So you can look over 20 times 162. That's how many cases I've looked at, and probably more. So I see a lot of shit. And I noticed something, and I noticed that someone who is affluent and a doctor and, might I say, very white as well, took a one-day trial with 3 psychiatrists, and she's put in a home and a judge, and she's released in 6 years. But I've seen a ton of these where it is poor people where something happened like this. A lot of times people of color and poor people, and it really seems to be money. It's not even this particular thing that I've seen anyway isn't really a racial thing in the North anyway. In the South it is. In the North it's not really. It's not a racial thing as much as it's a class thing.
Right.
And the class just happens to be separated racially. But they do shit like this, and there's women who kill their kids, kill their parents, and have had, and you look at their, and I've read the stories, and I look at their mental histories, and they're way more detailed than this, of being hospitalized for months at a time, and, you know, having
just documentation trail of them being treated for this shit.
Them being treated, and women and men, and whether it's we've had a bunch of that shit, and they don't give a fuck. They're like, yeah, you're crazy. You can take your crazy ass to the state prison and fucking sit there. And that's what they do, whereas they treated this way differently. And I think, obviously, that does have to do with the area they're in and, whatever. But it gave me a lot of mixed emotions, because I'm like, I feel so bad, and I still feel so bad. Whatever, regardless of anything, I feel bad someone's suffering like this.
Two victims.
And still 2 victims, and still the whole deal. But then I also feel bad that there's a lot of other people that probably had the same fucking situation that just weren't,
which is justice,
treated with such kid gloves. That's what I mean. Who knows? We have no fucking idea. We haven't figured out with mental illness. As a society, we haven't figured out how responsible people are for their actions if they're ill. We really haven't. I know that's not funny or anything, but it's fucking true.
It's true.
We haven't. It's a real murky, back in the day before the 70s when they switched it, it used to be like if you were a little out there, they'd put you in a hospital for a while. That's the way it worked. And then in the 70s, they made it so basically unless you were thinking that angels were carrying you to commit a murder and like hearing crazy voices, that's the only way you could be considered mentally unfit.
And you don't even know what today is.
And you don't even know what today is. You don't know who you are or where you are.
What year
she fell under that category, but most people don't.
Right.
Even if they are legitimately mentally ill. So it's difficult. It is difficult. And I don't know if that's also maybe to maybe expand the scope of that as far as mental illness goes, because then what you do is you put mentally ill people in prison, which causes even more fucking problems.
Right.
And so it's a I don't know, it's a snowball. But this case was really just one of those cases where I'm like, Jesus Christ, I had a lot of conflicting emotions. God damn it!
But also, mental illness. They historically and today too, people are just so dismissed by it, and and they're
still
just worthless people.
No, it is. It's still
they can't
people
do anything for us because they have mental illness.
People
Meanwhile,
are still dismissed.
Fucking Einstein was a lunatic.
Yeah, people are still
some of the most amazing people on earth had horrible mental illnesses.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's like some kind of cross between a beautiful mind and Sling Blade. It's like a weird
unbelievable
mixture.
Genius.
Yeah, she's obviously
just a brilliant woman,
brilliant and driven and everything else. And that also, but that's a fine line to walk for a lot of people.
Yeah,
between that and falling off of it and going fucking crazy, it happens.
The pressure to be something that everybody else expects of her, based on the beauty and everything, that the words that were said about her in high school and through college of being this hot piece of ass. But she's brilliant.
That's what I mean.
And her dad still doesn't even approve.
Penis,
no cock.
And just if you're obsessive compulsive about shit and things like that, and in addition to being kind of bipolar and depressed and everything else, dude, you could go that way real fucking easily. If I don't get a couple weeks off one of these days, I'm going to start doing crazy shit. You're going to come over, I'm going to flower pots in my backyard, filling the whole fucking yard. I'm going to lose my mind.
Abandonment issues will change you. It's just a thing. As a child, you have to have.
We all got a bit of that.
Yeah. As a child, you're supposed to be nurtured. And then when you're not, and when you're shunned, and when your parents are disappointed from day one, things are going to go wrong.
You put on the fridge and
in the bad bin.
The fridge magnets are the fridge magnets that are letters. It just says dickless failure. She's like, wow, okay.
I'm too.
That's what's always written up there, no matter what. It'll be rearranged if you change it. But so I don't know. That's what that is. It is what it is. I don't know. You guys have your own opinions. Think about it, bat it around, and I don't know, change your policies or whatever accordingly. I don't fucking know. But if you like that show, one thing I do know is you can tell us about it. You can get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, give us 5 stars, tell us your following instructions or directions or whatever the shit. Just write something in there. I don't know why you have to do that, but it counts more if you write something and all that shit.
Write the ticks are out.
Yeah, that's it. it. And also, do us,
time of year.
Yeah, you know how it is. Do us a favor too. Make a concerted effort this week to tell a friend about Small Town Murder. Do
all
this.
6.
All 6 of them that you have there, because I don't have any more than that. But I mean, advertising for podcasts is prohibitively expensive.
It is.
It really is. The rates they want for us to like cross promo with other, it's insanity. We can't afford it. So, if you want to help the show, help promote the show, advertise the show, get some new listeners in here, obviously, which is always good for us on the business end. Please tell a friend, make an effort to the crime and sports movement and the Small Town Murder.
Yes.
Something. Thank you for doing it, though. We really appreciate it. Get on that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Yeah. Everything. Crime and sports.
That's where the tickets are.
Small Town Murder, merchandise, all sorts of new stuff, and especially your tickets. As of right now, San Francisco show is still on.
Yes.
Follow us on social media for updates on that if you are going to those shows. Right. We are, it's at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Follow us and find that out, please. And follow us anyway on that for any new information. But San Francisco this weekend, Friday night sold out, Saturday night late show, still got some tickets left for that. We'll also be in Detroit and Cincinnati on March 27th and 28th. Check us out there. Also May 8th and 9th in Austin and Oklahoma City. Go there. And May 23rd in New York City and Brooklyn at Murmur. Come check us out there. It's going to be great. Those tickets are almost gone too, so you want to get on those. And we'll get to the rest of the dates at another time. But thank you guys for everything you do for us there. Right. We really do appreciate it. And if you want to be a hero of ours, and we're going to tell you how heroic they are, because they're our producers, and they really are heroes to us because they keep the show going, and that helps a lot. Also, you can become a Patreon member if you're over $5 on the pledge there. You can have access to all of our bonus materials as well. We have bonus episodes every other week. We put one out, and it's usually a case. This week, it's just a wacky personal ad laden. It's like prisoner dating game, but crazier. So check that out. Come check it out. If you listen to Crime and Sports this week, you'll really get what it is and know the drift and have a lot of fun with it and do that. But if you want to be one of these people and join the awesome group of producers that we have, you can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports or heading over to PayPal and using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. If you want to just make a one-time donation just to be nice people, you can do that as well. And I don't know, man. I need to hear something good. There's a lot of depression stuff this week. I need to hear good things. Tell me about the people who are the best people that don't make me depressed at all. Hit me with them, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Tanya Volanek, Amy Spicer, Jordan Bennett, Maria Montague, Amanda Dixon, Ari Carrison. Nope, probably not. Brooke and Paige Carter, Ann in Sacramento, Nicola Mastrantonio, probably, and Carrie Manzanares. That's what it is. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. We can't do it without you. Other producers this week are Pam Adams, Wayne Peterson, Jessica Ivey, Eve Welling, or Ive, it's probably Eve, Heather Norton, Stephen Russell, Thomas Smith, Jude Kendall, Abby with no last name, Gary Howard, Lanny Blunk, Ariel Thomas, Liz Vasquez, Chris Davis, Alfred with no last name, Christopher Longhurst, Ryan Benner, Megan Congra, what is that? I don't know what I wrote.
Don't ask me. You got the list.
Bailey Payton, Bobby Stride, James Martyr, Michelle Martin, Jenny Scheib. Oh, that's Earl's daughter, of course. Yes, obviously.
From the painting
Empire. Lauren Boyette, Peyton Meadows, Ashley Vio, Will with no last name, Jorge Lopez. Probably not George Lopez, right? Maybe
not.
Yeah,
hey,
probably.
He should have given a bigger donation. It is George.
Probably should.
TV show for 30 fucking years. Pony up, George.
Melissa Turner, Tony Keywell, Dove Harper. Oh, he said yes. So congratulations to you.
Guys.
In case you cared to follow up on that. Brenda Patrick, Kathy Louise Zeller, Amanda Knight, Logan Crane, like Bob's son.
Yeah.
Carrie Street, Tyler Williford. Yes. Laura with no last name. Alyssa Keene. Rachel Stora. Carolyn Abbey. And Addie. That's what that is. Andrew Patterson. Damn it. I was doing so well. Austin. Oh, okay. Astasia Onuindia-dite. No. Matt Kerr. Tara Dawes. TK Laurie. I think people are now we're doing J.E. Whisman and what is your middle name? Is it Alan? What is it?
Philip.
Yeah, JP Fisher.
Yeah, that was funny.
So people are donating as TK Laurie, the very, very rich man or woman. Danielle Anna Stein, Brett Killian, Janice Hill, Heather fucking Jones. That's what that is. Aaron Lawton. I think that's, Rachel Bruce, Michael Critch, probably got made fun of for being too close to crotch. DeMarcus Carter, Dylan Kaiser, Stephanie Beard, Keisha Stevens, Alexis Rodas, poor thing. That's tough. That's no fun.
I'd like to give a shout out quick to from the lady named Sarah from season 7 of 90 Day Fiancé. She's one of the people who is importing a woman.
Yeah.
It's his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And they're in the history of the show, the least trashiest people. And she listens to the show.
Great.
And tweets at us. She's really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for being finally people where we go, oh, fucking normal people. Okay, good. They're not trashy.
Right.
They're not like, she need to do this with my kids and how dare she. None of that shit. She's a nice lady, nice people. Good job.
Robin Anderson, Jen Pratt, Jesse Trotter, Heidi Broughton. Nah, that's tough. I'll tell you the when people misspeak and say it's been Broughton, that's what her last name is spelled like too. Luis Moreno, Andrea Roberts, Laura Culpepper, Cassandra Clark, Jesse Sukup, Kirtland Cunningham. I think that's what I wrote. What is that? Dreddy? Oh, Dreddy Kruger. See the pun there. Jill Butler, Marin A. Heron, Jennifer Baird, Sarah Surridge, Kyle Hughes, Cherie Lynn, Katie Hill, Hayden Sweet, Avalon Haley, Dylan Leahy, Kathleen Jones, Mindy Shempert, and Homestretch. Here we go. Ready? And I've got these in the bag because I know these all. Amber Scar, Amanda, Backert Wilk, Jamie Keck, it's a Keck, Katie Stokes, Sleeper Sharks, Leah Russell, Rudy Flores, Matt Faust, Chris Grebel, Augustus Lerma, Erica Little, Christy Kreider, Rachel Hyinga, damn it, Ryan.
Yeah.
Right.
Freddy Krueger, by the way, is a rapper who was one of the, in the Wu-Tang orbit.
Really?
Yeah, because he was
not really a person.
Gravedigger. No, it's not that guy, but that's the name of an actual rapper.
Got it.
He just took that guy's
How come
name.
I don't know that?
I don't know his name.
I've heard of it. That's one of the Killer Bees.
Yeah, I think he was he in Gravediggers maybe, possibly?
It's got to be one of the Killer Bees.
It's actually in Killer Bees. That was the group.
Okay. Yeah. Alexis Stefanakis, Jonathan Hewling, Jenny Blacker, yes. Oh boy, that hurts. Cheddar Cat, Gavin Johnson. I almost called him Gawan. Jennifer Britzman, Milldog 311, Laurel Peace, Brooke Kale, Matthew Moon, Andrew Pell, Sally Martin, Luke Torpy, Elliot Gibbons, Alexandria Brakenovich, Dolores with no last name, Emma Mitchell, Matthew Clark, Aaron with no last name, Jack Coates Dicker, Sally Martin, Candace with no last name, Oldest Charm, Christina Davis, Rhonda Sheridan, Got D. Lajuna, Luvia? No.
Yeah, sure.
Danielle Dole, Reba Warburg, Laura Kramer, Stephen Clark, Brian Cox, Rachel Strauss, Ed Whitmarsh, Donnie Yarborough. Yeah. Mike McCombs Jr. Yeah, that's what that is. Kathy Williams, Alex Capel, Nicholas Welch, Zach Anderson, Michelle Pollard, Renee Dilliard. No, it's Dillard.
Any other 90s rappers in there?
Antonio Ortiz, was he one?
I don't think so. Mad Lion give us money too?
No, I don't see him. Not in here. Andrew Pell, Justin Kropf, Megan Good, Christine Chrome. What did I write? Brome. That's a B. Jeremy Brown, Lisa Reuter, J.M. Jennings. There you go. There's another one of those. Fuckface Houlihan, Macy Sykes.
Did I call someone that, I think, one time?
Probably. Derek Kish, John Cranowetter, Amanda Parks, Sarah Dusick, Casey Barton, Casey Tinsley, Mandy Ronig, Frank. What? Frank Schmitz, Joshua Siegel, Kathleen Wacker, and Thomas Gallagher. God damn it, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much, so much, so much. We really appreciate everything you do for us and that you've just made this a thing for us. Thank you. Can't do it without you guys, and we do appreciate it every day when we wake up in the mornings. We know who to thank. So, Jimmy, what if they wanted to say something to you? Thank you, insult you. How could they do it?
You can thank me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can message me, I suppose, but there's no Snapchat. And Ray Brome and all of our Patreon supporters, thank you guys so much. Those two were on the other page. Where can they find you? You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or just copy and paste my name from the show description there. And by the way, I need to update on the shout outs. I gave a shout out to the Sarah woman from 90 Day Fiance, and I said they're the most mature people ever on that show and the only non-trash people that ever been on that show. It got even better. She officiated her ex-husband's wedding with his Brazilian 22-year-old model bride. I want nothing to do with that. Fucking incredible. So the kids were there. It was beautiful, and she was mature. And I'm like, who are these people? Who are these super mature, wonderful people? Where did they find all this class that I don't know shit about? So yeah, do that. If you want to follow me or whatever, at Jimmy P is Funny, just copy and paste my last name, do all that shit. But yeah, that was hilarious. I had to give her credit for that because I've never seen anybody with more class than that before. That said, keep coming back every week because God damn it, we will be. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel. Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.